red is on.
Today is Thursday, June 1st, 2017. Let this meeting of the Tilton Board of Selectmen come to order. Please let the record show all the selectmen are present. Let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Still trying to find that republic for which it stands.
We are a republic.
Yes, but where is the republic for which it stands? Is it between Afghanistan, Pakistan, Uzbekistan,
No,
Kurdistan?
our republic.
The
It
Stan
is
region
going to be a
of the...
long meeting, really.
No more king. Revolutionary War started that one.
No, it won't be, just get the duct tape.
All right,
Oh, it's just
Lauren.
Are we going into
Come
non-public
on,
for this? Or,
9
yes.
o'clock.
I think they just say that, but
Yes, they do. Catherine, are we going into non-public for this?
Make a motion, we go into non-public for our
Is it going to be non-public?
Legal, yeah.
if you're
Oh,
talking
yeah, it
about
is.
the-
It's, yep, it is. Okay, thank you.
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Work for first
We are
reading,
red.
that's
Red
it.
is on.
What?
You're gonna go work for first reading?
5:55.
I got it all passed, except
All right.
it wasn't.
Running on public. Public Works Director.
I'd like to,
Your RFP, don't forget.
yep,
Did you get your copy?
no,
Right here.
Chris for proposal. All right, well, let's talk about the ditching,
yeah, I just,
please.
I think that with the matter at hand, I think with a few days of ditching off of a private contract, yeah, I can get the ditching done that needs to be done this year. That's urgent ditching that needs to be done.
Which would be-
Mansville Road needs to be done, needs to be
Yep.
finished. Linden Ave needs to be done, Grant Street needs to be done for sure, and Highland Street. And that would take care of the major ditching issues that I have.
You're going to ditch Linden? You're going to take
Just
out
that.
that sidewalk?
I am gonna take out that sidewalk.
You wanted it ditched and riprap, right?
I'm not gonna rip wrap it, that's not even in the cards. I'm gonna sod it and hay it and seed it.
During the sod.
Yeah,
All right.
it's gonna be hayed and seeded.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what's your guesstimation?
But the ditching's on the opposite side, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Well, and ditching, I mean, I don't know what you guys' idea of ditching is, but a lot of ditching, yeah, but that's not just the ditching. If you go up, the edge of the road gets up higher than the ditch line.
Yep.
So the water can't escape off the edge of the road.
Yep.
So a lot of ditching is just cutting the edge of the pavement to get the water off the road. There's more to ditching than just digging a swale. We gotta get the water to go into the ditches is what the idea
You
is.
have to repair
Correct.
the ditches so that they're back to when they were established.
When they were established, that's right.
All right. So your request you're making from us is, can you subcontract this
Correct.
out? And you have a guesstimation of cost.
I got a roundabout figure, yep.
Does that include traffic control? Or who is doing it?
Well, that's, they're in,
We have flaggers.
we have certified flaggers that can do that.
Just as long as it's
Right.
covered, that's...
Right, and
'Cause
that's,
I don't care if it's the contractor or you, as long
Right.
as someone's doing it.
right, and like Grant Street, as long as we have signage on Grant Street, we can get away with one guy flagging.
So long as they're not
Highland
talking
and
with a
Linden,
truck
too.
driver.
Correct, yeah, or, yeah, on their cell phone, or, right.
Yeah. And pay attention where their stop slow is there.
Correct.
Oh, look who's here.
Oh, just the person I wanted to ask a question of. It has nothing to do with conservation. So you need a motion from us to go forward and subcontract out the ditching with a price not to exceed
4,000, I'd say.
$4,000.
John had a point, I think.
Well, I was going to get a second and then have a discussion. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Discussion, please. John?
I'm looking at
Yes.
costs of things that we didn't plan on spending. I'm looking at the parking lot down there, what that's actually gonna cost to pave over by Winnisquam and get that settled.
Oh,
Okay, I'm looking at the price for doing the stage,
The
the wall.
paving would be out of
Looking
The
at
the...
pavers have a whole different,
I'm looking at overruns on the sidewalk around here. We really need to ask Tim where we're at with a lot of stuff.
The paving's out of the special fund.
The paving and the sidewalk come out of the
Revolving fund.
revolving funds.
This
We've got-
would come out of his budget. So you,
Ditching
We-
would come out of the
and the
budget.
ditching
will come out of the
is out of
budget.
subcontract, out of his budget.
Yeah.
So you're right on that.
But what do you have in your budget for subcontractors?
I think I got it right here. I think I have eight or 9 grand in there right now.
Okay, is that gonna?
And I
cover
have, road materials, I have $10,000 in my road materials budget, which I don't foresee us using $10,000 this year because we just haven't had the people and the manpower to use it. So,
All right, so you know your budget well
yeah,
enough
yes,
that you're
yeah.
okay?
And I've been over it with Tim to make sure all the angles are gonna work.
Okay,
So-
Tim,
so you're
Talk to Tim.
comfortable that
Yeah.
you can
Yes,
find
yeah,
that in your budget?
yeah,
Okay.
I can find it. in
Any
my
more
budget.
discussion on the motion on the table? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by
Four.
to
Not to exceed 4,000.
to allow him to subcontract out the ditching not to exceed $4,000.
But I mean, what ditching? Are you just talking about the roads you just mentioned?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mansville, Linden, Grant, and Highland.
Ready for a vote? All those in favor?
aye.
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 Yes. When you write out that motion, or at least these minutes, please include specifically the streets that were mentioned. Yep, so you have a request for proposal in front of us for the Winscombe project. Does everybody have time to read this?
Okay, can we get some quantities so everyone bids the same?
Oh, yeah, I didn't,
That would be about the only thing. And do we have to use the sheet foot vibratory or is it just a vibratory?
Those sheet
sheet foot,
fit are nice.
yeah, it makes it, it does make it, we're trying to do the project the right way, you know what I mean? I just think,
They're kind of cool.
Huh? Yeah, but your reclaim is going to pack anyways.
I don't know about the on the ground.
Huh?
Does
before,
anybody see anything else beside quantities? I agree with Peter. I think that should be standard in these asphalt.
Can we tweak the pavement a bit, Brian? Can we do half-inch top, so maybe 1 1/4 on the wearing course and
just to make, yeah, we can do that, yeah.
and if we have to keep the base at 2, then keep it at 2.
Right, well, the base is what takes the load, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So-
the half-inch is going to wear better than
Right,
3/8.
yeah, you're right, yep,
So change the wearing course to 3/8.
No, the half-inch.
half-inch.
Half-inch wearing course, and it's 1 1/4 inch compacted. Because 1 inch is too tight.
Where are you?
Quarter inch.
Yeah.
Second page, bottom.
I'm meeting with,
What's the difference over here, though, when you say 1/2 inch wearing course over here?
We've got to fix that because they're missing the binder number.
All right, I'm confused now. So
There's
1/2
another-
inch,
there's
on
another
page 2,
40
it's 1/2 inch.
So they got it
Wearing
right on the,
course?
they got it right on the last page with the half-inch wearing course. They're
1 inch
missing,
compacted, that's what we're going with. 1/2 inch wearing course, 1 inch compacted.
1 1/4.
1 1/4.
Yep,
You take your largest stone and it's 2.5 times as your minimum depth, otherwise you.
And we're going with the 3/4 base,
Well, we
2
need
inch
some,
compacted?
we need that, so there's another 403 item that's for the 3/4.
And that's what we're going with?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're adding the two things. We're adding additional wearing course information, and we're adding the base information.
Well, you're missing the binder information on.
I gotta get, right, this is, I'll take care of that.
Yeah,
Where's the binder?
it's listed at the bottom of page 2. 3/4 base or binder is
Or
synonymous.
base or binder?
And then that needs to be here in 4.3.12.
It's going to be a different 403 number, because there's a different price between binder and asphalt, because
Yeah,
there's different
okay. Got it. And then we're all set to
And
sign.
the price of asphalt, as of May 1st, just went up another $2 a ton.
You don't have to notify dig safe because you're not digging, right?
Oh, well, that's on the contractor anyways, that's in there. That should-
I wonder,
Notify
I
all
wonder if
utilities before
Bernier
job state
can
does.
give you the square yards off the plan, if their plans easily, because with that, we can use the asphalt calculator for everything.
Right, and I've got, I'll just measure it and
Okay, either way.
I'll measure it and do it.
It says no.
I got the asphalt calculator too, so I can measure it and figure it out on,
I just go online and I use Vulcan materials, but any of the
I got one right on my phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you want this sent?
Okay, so is everybody good with the RFP suggested changes? Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yep.
Where do you want it sent?
Send it to, I'd like to send it to bigger
Everybody.
construction companies. This is a
Send it to
Pipe.
everybody.
Pipe, GMI,
EMI, Walcott, Continental.
Continental.
Porter.
Porter's not big enough to do that.
I'd send it to them all.
Does Porter have a reclaimer? Who,
No, I don't believe they do, but they can
they
hire.
can sub, yeah.
They can sub it, they can sub it, yeah, send it to
But the
Porter.
the problem when you do that, then you're dealing with multiple
You can
contractors.
send
and-
it,
out.
you can send it to Breton, Breton's got a
Yeah.
reclaimer.
Yeah.
Send it
Did
out
Brock do
there.
that? Because he's been up in this area
Who?
doing some, Brock was working on
Brock's?
the.
They're not
Brock's is
gonna
an asphalt,
haul,
yeah, they're not gonna haul all
they're
the way
not gonna
down
haul
here.
from Hooksett up
You-
to here.
They were doing the bypass up there and.
Yeah, but that's huge.
Yeah,
Let's please send it.
that's probably a $10 million job, they don't mind
He's up there
hauling.
trouble.
They're local in
It's
Tilton.
huge.
Who's that?
Porter.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, now, we're having them due June 29th, is that enough time?
That's a month.
Because originally, we were gonna send these out May 8th. Oh, well, this is
That's fine.
Thursday, May 8th, is the date.
So it changes.
Make the changes to get it out tomorrow.
Thursday, June
I'm on vacation tomorrow.
Denied, we didn't sign it.
All right, so other than that, the gravel's okay, so you don't have to, it says you use New Hampshire DOT specifications, 1.5-inch gravel as needed.
I think by the time this is all said and done, the reclaim's gonna be enough to cover the, but we'll put in for gravel so they have, it's gonna be close.
Are you requiring a site visit with this one?
No.
No,
Thank you.
and I did, just for, I'm meeting with Public Service on Monday. I put in a work order for the poles to be moved, and I'm meeting with them Monday, and we're gonna go over the poles, so.
Thank you.
And then while you're still here, can we talk a little bit about your plan for the parking, or you wanna wait? Because I.
No, that's fine, I
I'd like to
did.
get the lines
I went,
in.
yeah, well, I went down there to do it, to try and lay it out and give it a day for the people to kind of, and then it started pouring and washed all my lines away, so it's,
It isn't up to them.
no,
We want you to go put in parking spaces in front of the store.
right.
It isn't up to the store or the abutter or anyone else.
Well, I'd like to stencil in no parking in front of the,
You need to go in and paint those parking lines
okay,
and,
According to the Board of Selectmen.
and not take in what everybody else wants or doesn't want down there, because then you're gonna be in a cluster. But the question here is, do we want him to paint in front of the ingress and egress between the store and the house, do not block?
Didn't we decided we were gonna do that.
Okay, but rather than do not block, we should be using the MUTCD symbols, which regardless where they're used, under loading docks and whatnot, they're
Circle
still,
with a car and a
they still
slash through it, I
mean do
guess,
not
I don't
block.
know.
Because otherwise you're gonna be making letters.
you know, well, all I have down there is no parking anyway, I don't have,
What symbol is that you're referring to?
I don't think I brought that file over here.
And if
They
we
have
don't
three
have it,
options.
if we don't have it, what are we gonna do?
You can probably borrow from DOT.
I guess, yeah.
And what does it look, is it like,
Put a couple of Jersey
No
barriers down
parking
there.
doesn't work, you have to have something special?
Or just an arrow this way and an arrow that way, so you can tell it's a,
do not block, says do not block.
And you can paint that on the pavement.
Yeah. If it's
What
dry.
about
It's
like
a universal
back
symbol,
on
we should be
so
using it, we shouldn't make up our own.
The what?
one of those
And
side
do not block?
parking spaces.
The symbol for, with the
Turn around.
annual
That's
uniform
what,
traffic control devices recommend.
Are you suggesting putting it where we just suggested do not block?
Yeah,
Okay.
right there, you have three options, well, actually you have four.
Is no parking one of them?
Well, no, you have
No.
three. No, because it's not just do not park, it's do not block, so don't put a dumpster there, don't put your whatever there, don't put anything there, don't just not park there. Don't block it. So if I'm gonna go in there and I see somebody I know and I put my car there, don't do it, don't block. Keep it clear.
So what's the
What is
symbol?
it?
So you have three options. You have a box that says do not block in it, obviously, and then you have one that's hashed out and one that's just a big cross. I'm sure you've seen it.
I think the do not block is the best, because they're pretty clear. The
You
other
have
one.
to do it in Spanish?
Yeah.
No, but you're gonna have to make that stencil or get a hold of the stencil.
Option
Just
C.
trying to make it easier. For this purpose, what we're doing now,
It's gonna get ground up and.
you could put in the road things and then we could have two signs on either side that say do not
I
block.
was just gonna say, can we just do a sign of
That's
some
what I was
sort
thinking,
instead of?
because
It's
it's
just
kind
gonna-
of tight for someone to read.
And then,
I
I
think
think
you could
it cost me more to have the stencil made than it would to,
Right, but I think you could make the cross, this one was simple enough.
right.
That you
But,
could
that-
paint. But if you then put up two signs on either side,
Right.
it's a do
You
not
could do that.
block,
Yeah.
active, whatever.
Okay.
Not block driveway.
Well, I always get with the chief when I make those signs, because then I know that I can enforce it with the language I've got there.
The three, well, you got your map out right there, the three parking spots in front of the state,
On the state's land,
on the
yes.
state's land that come out like that. I'd like to do away with those and put parallel along the side, put two parking spots along the sidewalk instead of having that, because now I can come in here and I can plow my snow there, and the cars are up against the sidewalk, and then if somebody comes in, there's plenty of room there to come in and out of the,
Well, the other thing is that during the non-winter months, they're out in the grass parking, so
And that's
I wouldn't
not
put- I wouldn't put any if you wanna do the parallel near the
I
sidewalk,
was just
okay, but
thinking
I wouldn't do
this-
those.
well, that's why I wanted to do that, is keep them to the sidewalk, so they can still get in there to park, and in the wintertime, I got a place to push snow.
I have a,
That would mean there are no parking sign
One
there.
there and there, and nothing there.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
You
that,
have one there and
but
there.
you're gonna need a do not block in front of that other
Right,
place.
right, and we'll have that,
Yeah,
because we can't stop them from parking on the state property, that's not our,
It's not our-
but we can
That's not
say
our
do
problem.
not block.
but we can say don't block here, right? And have the two parking spaces up against the
Up against
sidewalk,
the sidewalk, correct.
and that gives
How are you
plenty,
gonna get in and out of the one that's up against the state property?
what do you mean?
How are you gonna get in and out of it?
You
You
gotta
got-
try-
you have
I've
three
got 5
parking
feet
spots
between
lined
the,
up. If you use one for parallel, you still have the two to drive.
and I measured so that the two parking spots that are up there had 5 feet in between the two of them. So you can move in and you can back in and
So
out.
the back end of the one closest to the intersection is not gonna be too close to the intersection?
Right, no, it's not, that's,
Do they like, I
I'm
thought they
okay.
wanted 20 feet.
She unplugged you.
Oh, I got it right
that's what I measured, 20 feet with a 5-foot gap in between the two spaces.
Well, let's try it out,
Yeah.
and
This
if it
is just
doesn't
a
work, we
tryout.
still have the
Right.
opportunity to change
We
it.
can change it before, but I think it's gonna work the best that way, because you're gonna have plenty of room.
This would be a great trial period.
It's, exactly,
It
exactly.
would be a great trial period.
You know what?
I'm good.
Well, sit.
All right, I just have one
All
more.
right,
So you're gonna give me these numbers?
Yes.
all right, so when are you gonna be able to put the lines in?
As soon as we get the weather.
Well,
At this point, it's probably after bike week, because that always rains.
I tell, the other morning when we were out here at 3 o'clock in the morning, me, Lee, and Kevin with a torch, heating the pavement up so we could spray the lines.
we should do them as soon as possible.
Nice job.
Pat,
It was,
Great.
we really, really had
You guys
to,
did a good
it
job.
took
for-
some time.
Don't
Do you
forget
have
at
a-
some point on the West Main.
No, I know, I just
Okay.
waiting on the weather, I know,
Yeah, good.
this,
Okay.
This doesn't have anything to do with winter storm, but did you have an opportunity to talk with Black Swan Inn?
I haven't, Pat, I was doing stuff with John and Lee and,
For the board, I got a phone call that a woman, an elderly resident, was walking along the sidewalk going towards Black Swan Inn, and the tree is so low, hung over the sidewalk, that she went to duck under the sidewalk. And fell into the roadway because it's very low, very, very low, and it's either Black Swan or Jim's, and I think it's Black Swan.
I think it's Black Swan too.
Oh, so this is between Mill Street and Black Swan?
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
Wow. That's
Very-
impressive.
very low, so we gotta have that taken care of because that's where.
But the
everybody's
problem with that is it's gotta be
Mhm.
up a lot higher than I've got ability to reach.
Loader,
Huh?
loader. Put the guy in the loader.
You can't do
You
that.
can't.
Oh, come on.
Not in public.
Everybody does.
Bungee
So she
cord.
went to duck under it and lost her balance on the edge of the sidewalk and fell into the traffic.
So you have to set
How
that
big
up.
is this tree?
It's
But
a bush.
this sidewalk.
Shrubbery. It's
It's a
shrubbery.
very, very high bush.
The father,
I know.
the father.
Big pole.
All right, so you've got to take care of that,
Get on your shoulders.
however you see fit, Mr. Public Works Director.
Maybe Leland can go to.
Do we have anything more for the Public Works Director?
This is one thing, so did anybody ever get, were you gonna talk to Bill Rollins about their little bowl of water that forms there at the intersection by the bridge? Remember we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, the rain,
What bridge?
the Park Street Bridge, or our sidewalk that Porter Paving's supposed to be putting in, we can't do because the water is.
Oh, no, this is the first I'm hearing about this. I know we have a sinkhole.
Talking
That's,
about-
that's, this- no, you're talking about where the state fixed the
Right,
catch
I'm talking where the
basin.
state fixed.
They fixed the catch
I
basin.
thought they fixed it.
Sure.
How was the rain
It's
that we
kinda
just
low.
had?
The problem with that is we don't always get this much rain. I just don't think, I think the hole just couldn't take the water.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's really not our doing, it's the
The catch
state's
basin
doing.
in our sidewalk or in the street?
In the street.
In the street, it's the
Did we-
state's.
Did we hear from them on the guardrail up there that they?
No,
A cemetery?
I did send it to Alan, because he's our District 3 engineer, and he said that was the state, so he sent it on to the state. So how else can you get in there? Because I doubt very much they're gonna move their guardrail, the cemetery.
They
We
blocked
love-
us in.
We lugged the
At the cemetery next to
lawnmowers
the
over the
car
stone
wash.
wall.
The state
What did they do?
They blocked.
Guardrail.
They blocked
replaced
the guardrail up to the entrance, so we can't get them, you can't, even if you wanted to go in there,
You have a set of torches?
I do, yeah.
I'll go alter the guardrail. Why would they do such a foolish thing?
That's what I asked
don't know.
Alan, I said, like, was this?
I just happened to notice it, and I went and saw Joyce, I was like,
Well,
this isn't right.
somebody
I
needs
said
to
we
call
can't-
Bill Rollins. Who would like to do that?
Well, I got in touch with Alan Hanscom, and he said that was a state project, and he sent it to the state in Concord, the guy that's in charge of the project.
The only way to get in there is to pull into the car wash and climb over the stone wall, and then lift the lawnmowers over the stone wall.
We don't have a right of way through there.
Oh, yes, you
Yes,
do.
you
It
do.
is a cemetery.
The cemetery we do.
No, the car wash, but I'm sure the owner of the car wash. is not
If he'll let
gonna-
us, we'll put something in the backside to get in
That's
there, but
Gareth
it's,
DuBois.
Yeah,
but even still, we shouldn't have to, we
No.
have
we
an
shouldn't
entrance.
have
Where do
to.
you usually park your trucks? when
Along
you-
Route 3.
Along Route
Long
3.
Route 3.
You park right
On the
Route
shoulder.
3.
Check Google
So
Maps.
where is this now? It's down in Concord?
Yeah, must be Bureau of Construction.
There, yeah, the,
Maybe we can take a ride next week.
Tuesday?
I'm in.
I'm in. We'll
Did
make a
you-
personal visit.
I'll forward you the.
I'm just,
Did
the
you,
words I want to say are not for public use.
Okay.
did you have a chance to drive by that wall I was talking to you about?
I did.
That's gonna be bad if we don't do something about it.
Which wall?
The wall at the water
At the
company,
water at the water,
Academy Street,
Okay.
it's coming down.
it's not good.
Everything.
So's the wall, that side of Cumbie, so's the wall at
This one's
Vince's place
Yeah,
there
but
on
when
West
that one
Main.
falls, it's taking the road and the building with it.
Yeah, we're gonna lose Academy Street.
I gave the town an estimate 25 years ago.
To concrete that, and
To fix that
they
wall.
should have done it. Penny wise and dollar foolish, because that's gonna bite somebody.
And I'm in a meeting now, but,
Okay.
The rocks are actually, the road's undermining right now, and the water's coming out through the wall and pushing them rocks.
okay, yeah, no worries.
Out of the
I don't
wall.
even- as long as they
Well,
don't
you can get an estimate for free. I get people to look at it,
Okay.
get some costs.
Cofferdam.
That's gonna,
They're
that's
willing
not
to
gonna be.
partner up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, John was willing
Okay.
we're gonna work and see what money is what to do it right.
Yeah.
Because that's not a small job.
No.
You're really seriously probably looking at concrete.
Absolutely. Well, what we were talking about is the faced blocks, the connected blocks. But if we could pour concrete, that'd be even.
Blocks just don't.
Well, if we're gonna fix it and fix it right, with concrete.
You're gonna be doing concrete.
We do,
Can you send
Eric down.
Eric down and we'll?
I'd be getting a lot of estimates for that. I can have Eric in touch with you, but I would get,
Yeah. Oh well, that's gonna be a big job.
that's quite a specialized.
Right. There's a lot to that. That's
I can
not
draw
just
you a
that
picture
one.
of what it would look like, but that footing's gonna be huge.
Yeah. But the rocks you can already see where the rocks have pushed out of the wall, back further by the garage, and it'll roll down and rip the siding off the
Because you
garage
could
and the water
leave,
department.
you could, yeah.
But my concern is what's under that road right now? If that's all undermined under there, and it's just a matter of time before somebody
Could be a
goes through it.
sinkhole there, yeah. If you should
Let
see
me
the.
know when it
Okay.
happens, we got a sewer line there we need to replace
All
at
right,
some
so
point.
you have some
Yes.
things to do, we're gonna do some things. Are we all good?
Yep, all good.
I don't know, are we on schedule?
No.
No,
I'm not good.
thank you, Brock.
Thank you.
Go forth then. Okay.
Well,
If you can.
I'm burning the candle at both ends right now. I leave from here after work and drive to Dartmouth. Back at 11 or 12 at night and then go back. It's starting to get old.
Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Right over there.
Have a safe ride home.
Yeah.
Conservation Commission, peoples. I have to talk to one of you for just a few brief minutes in your role as Assistant Commissioner of the New Hampshire State Prison System. Throw her off and look in her face.
Do I need my attorney?
No. Question. What is the feasibility and then the process if the town wanted to offer a job to someone coming out of the prison system? That's easy. For you.
No, but
Well, what's the process?
you're offering a singular job, or are you offering a job opportunity for someone going out on probation parole? What is the offer? Potential offer.
Job opportunity.
Public Works.
Public Works, full-time.
And part-time
And part-time.
So you should just email me and I'll connect you based on what it is you're looking for. And then we can put that opportunity out to people who are nearing their release date, and they can literally submit a resume and go through the normal job application process.
Can you email Joyce so that she has your email?
I believe Joyce already has mine.
Do you have her email, Joyce?
Did you hear what the process was?
It would be just as anyone applying for a job. So what we would do is literally say that the town of Tilton has this opportunity, submit your resume, we would assist them in submitting that resume, and then you would vet them like you would vet any normal candidate.
So whenever we have those opportunities coming available, we could,
Right, and I'll
The off
specifically
chance.
target it to our community corrections program coordinators, and they'll be the point of contact for that. Yeah.
all right,
Can get
thank
that
you.
out real soon? Good.
All right, Conservation Commission.
Hey, this should be quick and simple.
Yes,
Great.
because our researcher's done her research.
As you know, we came 2 weeks ago about the School Street property, and we are back because the deed for this property was created by the town of Tilton's tax collector and does not include any kinds of description of the land. Since that's been registered at the county courthouse, we would like to put an easement on the property, and on that same easement include all the details of the lengths and widths and the meets and the boundaries and the whole thing, and have that recorded. It's something that Roy Wakefield asked for on September 2011. The minutes say he feels the town should insist that a conservation easement be put on that property. It will be a very simple easement. It will just say in perpetuity There will be no construction, no building. It's designed to be a wildlife corridor.
So there's no hunting.
Right. So part of what was asked of us was, could we just merge it with Buffalo Park? And that's actually not simple.
Because there's hunting.
Because there's restrictions on that easement, including, well, there are allowances such as hunting, but as Kathy has researched, if we go that route, you're adding another layer of state agency, which is DES, and the mitigation piece. So it is more clean and simple to do what Kathy's recommending.
So would this conservation easement be similar to the one that was put on the Lawrence property that we recently purchased?
I believe so. We have some
Potential language.
tentative potential, whatever.
The good news is that there's a Derbyshire survey, so that should make it easier
Where is
for,
it, Mr. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
and the Conservation Commission voted to pay for anything needed to accomplish this. So all we need from you is, at this point, your support, a vote saying you support this concept. Once it then goes to legal counsel to put together a real deed, we'll be back to see you and you can give final approval.
I support it, and I'll move that we move towards creating a conservation easement for the School Street property.
U741A.
U741A, 2.9 acres on the School Street.
Second.
Conversation.
Yes.
So, if this is a wildlife corridor, and I've been on that
Mhm.
and seen what and he's right, it is. Why would we put a recreational trail across it? Wouldn't that affect the wildlife that use it as a corridor?
Well,
If we
we,
have human beings now infiltrating that area?
They're used to the humans,
I
though.
was going to say, people are accessing it to walk, and we can prescribe what that means. Obviously, that's just draft semantics, and we can be very specific that it's a earthen path, right, that's not meant for,
ATVs or
And it
something.
Dirt
says
bikes
may
and-
grant,
Right.
that's not prescriptive.
right, it's not a shall.
So, do you have example of the language you're going to use?
No, as Kathy indicated, if you are going to bless the concept, we'll move forth with legal counsel, we'll get an easement drafted that will be presented to this body, and then we'll mutually vet that language and then come to a finalization. This is intended just to be a concept about moving forward.
We can't do anything because the town owns the property, so we have to get your approval.
Yes. So Joyce, you did a lot of research.
Yes, Kathy and I together, we work very well.
Is there anything you want to add to this conversation? Because that's why I wanted to delay it. I know that you had,
No, both of us independently came to the exact same conclusion.
okay.
And we verified each other's data, and we said, we're good to go.
The reason that there was this section in red is that when you start, by the way, just the concept of these paragraphs came somewhat from when we had the parcel on Salmon Run that we purchased from the state. That was basically the blueprint for this language. But what happened when you look at the language of grantee and grantor and some of those things, you start getting quite convoluted when it's owned by the town and you're
Right.
just trying to put a conservation on it, easement on it. So one of the things we said was, if that language which is in red is something which is imperative and legal counsel says that should be in there, then that's fine. But otherwise, we would,
Just
be
convey
glad
it
to
to
do without it.
I would be interested when you do seek legal counsel for this. I would be interested in seeing that the property is protected from any future Board of Selectmen that may want to change it and try to sell it.
Well, that's why we added the language in perpetuity at the end of that first paragraph.
Yep.
Right.
But you may want to take, right now, I believe, I think the Lawrence property leaves it in the hands of this. No, there is a piece of property, maybe it is Lawrence. It's in the hands of the Conservation Commission and the Board of Selectmen. I've read too many deeds lately, but there is one out there.
We'll go back and look at that.
So that's my concern, that this property truly is untouchable, that it remains in conservation easement. And
So
end of story.
we can
Legislative body.
express that to legal counsel.
It is
And
So,
So
yeah,
moved.
just for me, that's what I'd like to see
I agree.
happen.
That 1990.
And no hunting.
I agree.
When you get overrun by the animals, I don't want to hear you.
They can run on to Buffalo Park and they can hunt them there.
They can go right to Buffalo.
For a park.
When they eat all your flowers and vegetables in that area.
Well, that's fine. For me, it's too close to residential properties for hunting, I think. Anyway, any more discussion on the motion on the table? Going once, going twice. All
Aye.
those in favor of the motion on the table?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for all that work.
Thank you for all the
Have a
work.
good night.
Thank you for the advice on the
Back soon.
Thank you for
Other?
the opportunity for people who are leaving the facilities.
glad to help. They did a marvelous job in Riverfront Park.
And that, she's gonna forward that to you tomorrow, soon. Okay.
Thanks, Helen. Thank you all. Thanks, Kathy.
All right, thanks.
Good to see you.
Roy know that he's doing something.
I know, I was looking.
I feel real good.
I think we should celebrate.
I actually feel good.
Yeah, no, won't be tonight.
Hey, come on, get moving, we're back on schedule, let's stick to it.
I'm having fun here.
Could be
Town
tonight.
administrator, we're on schedule.
Don't send us off.
We still have to do the minutes. There was a lot of work done on this. A lot of work.
And it was fun.
Good job.
When I got home last night, I had to wait here, I was working, and it was just raining and lightning so hard, I couldn't go out. So finally, when I did go home, because I'm up high, kind of near the Highland ski area, everything was covered with hail.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in my, how many years I've been living in New Hampshire. It was
Oh, really?
whoa,
Down in the valley, I guess, I didn't hear or see any.
I've never seen that before.
Oh, I went up, picked up
Depends where.
handfuls, it was fun.
So,
Lightning was weird.
So it was so cute. Tom, my son Thomas did a
I
Facebook
think I have
thing.
two.
I don't know why I don't do his Facebook post. And he goes, what
Here,
the
I don't know.
hell is this? Okay, I should be
Town
quick.
administrator.
Oh,
Got it.
Okay. First of all, the land use job descriptions, I still haven't finished yet. It's on the land use technician. I need to clean up the knowledge, skills, and abilities and their physical requirements. I still haven't done yet. So that will be next week. As far as the
while
status.
we're on that, how close are we to interviewing possible?
Right, that's what I was bringing up now. I won't go into any details, I'm just giving you a status report, because number one, Dari's not here, and number two, we received one more application, and we're supposed to be getting another one. Which, did that come in today, Gail? It did? So we do have the two applications?
One.
Or was the one I put on your desk this morning? Okay, then I was told that we were gonna be getting another one.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. So that would bring, well, right now, in hand, we have 6 candidates. Last Friday, Dari and I interviewed 5. Of those 5, they all have a lot of, we were pleased with all of the candidates, but we were able to narrow it down to 3. And I did some background check on one, just because we both knew the people that had worked with this person. And so we've got some real promising candidates. So the next question is, what do you want to do? Do you want to interview all of them? Do you want to see, Dara and I have been very good with keeping track of the questions that we asked. Each candidate was asked the same question. What?
I believe we asked you to narrow it down to 3, didn't we?
The questions are not in that folder.
They're not in here, okay. But we can,
Did we say 5?
Yeah, top 5.
Okay.
I think 3 would be enough. really.
Board, 3 or 5? Top 3 or 5? Ken, 3? Peter, 3 or 5?
Depends, if there's 5 excellent, I'd go for 5. If there's 3 excellent, I'd go with 3.
Well, what's interesting in the scoring that we did, Dari, of those 5, independently, we each came up with the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
But what certain aspects that were rated, you can see where we differed.
Mhm.
So we'll be able to give you a good recap on all of those.
So we're still not, John, how many do you want to narrow it down to?
3's fine if they've
Yeah, I
vetted
think,
them out.
I think 3.
3 is fine, but I'm kind of like Peter, if you have, like, if you're
So
new,
cut us short of
Tiebreaker.
if
the-
you're new and you've got a 4th,
Yeah.
or even a
we don't
5th,
have-
these
yeah,
come
we
in
don't
and
have
they're
a
like, wow.
Tiebreaker, but if we do get one, definitely.
Let's not throw them out, just
Right.
because, okay,
I'm with that.
Yeah,
next,
so we're very pleased.
good.
When are we gonna interview?
Well, I can go ahead and, why don't we set up 2, because we can set up 2 for next week.
Okay,
Because,
we've already got one interview, possibly, most likely, with the Public Works Director.
and then.
And then we have the Pines coming in next week.
Right, before the 3rd one, I want to wait and see these other 2.
Then why don't we send it up for the
15th.
week after?
Week after on the 15th?
We
Okay.
can just set aside that for, that time just for interviews and just have 3 interviews, boom, boom, boom.
Okay, the top 3.
And not have anyone else come in?
Right. With the exception of Brock may have to.
I'm open for it.
Well, Brock's coming in next week anyway. Is everybody good with that?
So the
Does that
interviews
sound good?
on the 15th?
Okay.
We have the 5 commissioners coming in on the 15th, and Tim needs to see you on the 15th.
I thought
We
the
did,
fire
which I did
commissioners
have a
were up in
check
the
over
air.
No, we had that all settled. At least 2 of them are coming. Dennis
Joyce,
has another.
I thought I saw an email.
Yeah, Joyce,
Yes.
I would like to know, in general, what ideas the selectmen would like to
Yeah.
discuss with the commissioners prior to setting up a meeting date. I laughed my gluteus maximus off, because they came to us.
Right, but he was just one. The other 2, he told me in another email that the other 2 are very anxious to come.
Okay.
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 He cannot because he has another commitment.
Oh, well.
Because when I emailed him back to tell him after I got that, and I checked with Gail, Gail says, no, she called me back. Kathy called her back and said, we're all set for the.
What time are they coming on the 15th?
5:30.
5:30.
So we could have them.
So I emailed him, I said, well,
Interviews
Dennis,
later.
we're already set up. He says, that's okay, the other 2 will come.
I don't even know why we're meeting, because to me it's a dead issue.
Well, they had true, but
It's
Okay,
not,
that's-
no, it's not.
So the fire commissioners are coming in on the 15th at 5:30,
That pieces, but not, it's not that issue.
Okay.
and we meet at 1:15.
Maybe only 2 of them though, right?
It's all right, it's still gonna be a half an hour at least,
And then we
minimum.
can have one after that. We could work it.
so you want to do 2 on the 8th and then another one on the
Or if we only,
15th?
if we only have Brock on the 8th, we could fit 2 on the,
We have the Pines on the 8th.
Where's the Pines?
That should be brief. They were just going to give a quick update.
Pines is never brief. That's at least 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes, half an hour. That might surprise us.
but
I
we
mean, they
can.
really, there's a lot to the Pines.
But if we don't have a huge selectmen's report, we can do Brock, the Pines, town administrator, and then do 2 of the 3 interviews. And get it done, and not have a selectmen's report.
Anybody?
Wait, 2 of the 3?
Or do 3,
I want to do it
45
all
minutes.
at once.
I'd like to do all at once.
And do 3, and do 15 minutes apiece apart, and do
It's
an
gonna be a
hour.
late night.
And just go
Well,
out.
yeah, I mean, Dari and I, we
We have
have
a lot of
meetings
irons in the fire.
Thursday.
Yeah,
I'm sure that, we can do this.
it
this
depends on
number 6
how long
candidate.
your report's gonna be, and then,
We have a lot of irons in the fire, and there's
No,
not
we're-
many things we can
yeah,
drop off
we're
this
almost
list.
done.
okay? And then it depends on that, and then as soon as we finish with the town administrator, we can go right into interviews,
Yeah.
get the 3 done, and we can hold off selectmen's reports for the following week,
Okay, we can do that.
if this board's okay with it.
4:45 highway interviews.
And then,
5:15.
If you look at what
Yeah.
we're still, so we still haven't talked about what
Right.
we're doing with the streets. We still have to do with hawkers and peddlers. You have the illegal dumping ordinance. You've got,
Yeah,
We could jump right to the 22nd and have them all three right boom, boom, boom in the beginning.
let's do the 22nd.
Want to do
Are we
that?
pushing it out pretty far?
Yeah, we are, but we've
Well,
got,
you've already
We
got,
can do the outstanding business on the 15th and have nothing else after the fire commissioners in town. So close out the 15th, have the interviews next week. Brock's gonna do his, land use and Pines, those, cut the next 2 Thursdays off.
but we still, what Catherine is saying is that there's still a lot of outstanding things on the town administrator's list that we really have to get done, i.e. trash, the Tree Street thing, this, we've
We
got
can't delay some of these things. They've been delayed for months.
tax deeding and all of
Can we
that.
push the pines out?
The Pines isn't really the,
I'd said push the pines out a long time ago. I don't think that they
I
would
mean, here's the
matter.
thing, you haven't,
I bet.
we don't have a place really for this person to sit at this point. So, if you push it out until the 28th,
22nd.
or the 22nd, you're closer to having a desk for the person.
Yeah.
Right,
Do that.
right.
Next.
I would say go the 22nd and
Go
then
the
we've got the time.
22nd and close it, that's it. You've got 3 applicants coming in, anybody wants to talk to us, they better be gushing blood,
Okay.
Or just have interviews
as
that,
Mark used to say on the job site.
interviews on the 22nd, whether it be land use and highway or just land use, just interviews on the 22nd.
On the
only.
22nd. Okay, and so nothing's been scheduled yet, so
Correct.
so we can
So the
get these set up.
22nd, 3 land use interviews, done.
Done.
And if there's a
Highway
tiebreaker,
as soon as possible.
might
Yeah,
be next week.
I agree with you. But there may be one or two stragglers depending on when we get the state thing. That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
next week.
I think that guy, he seemed pretty confident this guy might work out.
Right.
Okay, the benefit strategies agreement I don't have yet, because Tim and I just today sat down and we're...
Say it again?
The benefit strategies agreement, this is for the health reimbursement,
Oh,
health rearrangement,
Yep.
Cafeteria?
health reimbursement account.
Yep.
Because he has to make decisions on if it's going to be ACH or EFT or whatever, and this was right in the middle of when we got the email from Franklin Savings Bank about changing, so we kind of got off track there, but I'll have that for next week. You already did the withdrawal of funds request. Homeland Security grant application, we have to have a public hearing, and that we were thinking the
Next week?
15th, because it's all set to go. I just have to,
Nobody's gonna come, so just have it next week.
I would say next week at 7 because,
well, it has to be 7 days, not counting the date of the meeting.
oh, okay, then it's gonna have to be the
The week
15th.
after.
Because but that's when Tim and the fire commissioners are here.
That's all right, you can have it at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock,
Five, yeah.
Because you're gonna open it,
and close it.
nobody's gonna be here. You're gonna go, okay, close it.
Okay.
Okay,
Do you
Actually,
recall,
have it at 4:45.
have the hearing
Right at
at
4:45. We'll do no, have it at 4:50. That way we can do our Pledge of Allegiance. We'll open it and close it and do our minutes.
Because the deadline to submit the application is June 29th, he said. And I think he wrote something in his report to you guys on that.
Tim's gonna wanna come in, I think, at the beginning. Just so you know.
Why?
Because he usually comes at the beginning so he can go.
Why does Tim need to come in?
He asked to come have time with the selectmen. I don't know the reason.
Do we know how much time he needs?
Did he say how much Tim?
No, he did not.
Just find out how much time he needs, please.
When is that for?
The 15th, you said.
Doesn't he need to come in before the public hearing to discuss that?
No, it's just a
Is that what he wants to discuss?
He wants to discuss the emergency management grant.
Okay.
Oh, that's easy. Have him come in at 4:45, 4:50, whatever.
And then we'll do the,
That's easy.
And
Is
we'll
that-
do the public meeting at 5,
Yeah,
okay, and that's
That's
on the
really
15th.
right,
the 15th.
right. Exactly.
That's really.
Okay, as you recall, last year with our 23 2013 tax liens, we only had one parcel that went to deed. We worked out a payment arrangement with the individual, and she successfully met the deadline and paid it.
Yep.
So before I contacted her, I checked to see, going forward, what she owes, which I double-checked with Cindy. Now, what I did is, I never removed the exemption from the assessing system, so this was continuing to generate tax bills to the town of Tilton. So we can go ahead and quitclaim deed the property back to her. And then we need to make sure that when we give her the deed, that we give her a letter saying that these amounts that are due, that she needs to continue to pay those and stay current. Because otherwise, I believe she's all set for we're doing 2014 now.
So did her payment schedule, was it such that it kept her, so right now she is current?
No, well, she's current with the payment agreement, but now she has the second issue, she has the 2016 lien, and she has the first issue 2017 tax bill, which are the yellow ones that are going around. So this is what she owes, and if she continues with her payment arrangement, those will be gone in no time. And then she will be current.
Was there anything expressed that that would be the case?
When we met with her,
Yeah.
we said that there would be, this would be the current year. You get the current year.
Yep.
And at the end of the year, at the end of the time, we'll give you back the house, but there'll be monies owed on the following year.
Yeah.
Because it's a lien, and then deed.
Right.
And she understood that at the time when we sat down and talked with her.
Yes, we've made those arrangements with people, but
Right.
she's not required, in order for us to deed that back, she's not required to maintain those payments.
No, you're right.
No, but it's very manageable now, and she's working, so there should be no reason for her not to be able to.
I don't know what her past history was.
And the original agreement is attached to that.
She was out of work.
Yeah, I was just looking at the original.
Is that what it
agreement.
was?
Yeah.
That's all.
For quite a while.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is go ahead and prepare the deed and the letter, and then the board can sign it
Does
next
anybody else
week.
want
Or
to see this?
Oh,
you've got
no,
one?
we didn't see that one.
Thank you, Joyce.
So this is-
there were some abatements and exemptions that Lauren had.
Yeah.
Did you see those?
Mhm.
And did I put an
John's.
exemption letter in there for one of the churches? Or do I have it?
Is this to be signed?
John's got it.
No, there's this FYI, this is FYI.
No, because payroll's still here, John hasn't signed it.
No, Joyce, you didn't.
I didn't put it in there?
These two are signed.
Here it is. You want it on there? This is one of the churches, and they have 2 parcels of land. I might have mentioned this when you were signing the tax warrant, because it was flagged as a warning that someone was getting an exemption, and then it was removed, and I said, I'll have to wait and talk to Lauren until she gets back. And
This has already been around.
the second parcel didn't qualify because it's just a vacant wooded lot. So the exemption was removed. So Lauren said to send the trustee a letter, and if they can submit more documentation, that we can look at it again, and I've included copies of the statute.
That's not my bad.
There is Main Street, across from D-Roy's.
Okay, got it.
There's a copy of the tax card that has a picture of it, and I included a copy of the tax map. And I highlighted the statutes on what they need to.
So this means that they don't get the exemption, the charitable exemption for the lot, but they get the
Yes.
charitable exemption for the
Religious.
The religious one. Okay, got it.
Hallelujah is performed on the lot.
Well, maybe they could construct something on it.
So we need to sign this.
Yeah.
Well,
Easter Vigil service or something, I don't know.
so,
We did that, we did these up here. These are for wages.
so you'll be able, if they provide you more information,
I
they
did,
will, we can look at it again.
Yes.
Under the same application, right?
yes,
They don't have to wait another year?
no.
Okay. I'm happy with that.
Okay. The zoning board and the town clerk received a summons, Windy Hill Co-op versus the Tilton ZBA. In the past, when they, going through the rehearing process, Attorney Radigan represented the town. So we would like permission to have it, we've already spoken to Attorney Radigan, he can do it. I'll have him file an appearance to represent the town in Superior Court.
So you're asking us to allow them to continue to use Radigan for this? That's interesting. Did they really need to come back if they we'd already said yes, use them for this? Is it really that different?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
We'd already given them the
No, this
land
is,
use permission to use Radigan for this Windy Hill issue. We hadn't been served this yet, but I believe, didn't we?
yeah, for the rehearing, he
Right.
was, but now this is going to Superior Court.
Right. So I'm just surprised that we're granting permission again for them to continue to use
Well,
Radigan.
To alert the board
But
that
it's
we're,
nice that they've asked.
yeah, well,
Just-
we're expending legal fees that only the board has control over.
Well, I know, but it's
Yeah.
like we already said, yes, you can use them for Windy Hill. so-
Okay, I'm fine with that.
That
Okay.
is nice. All right. Anybody object to them continuing to use Radigan to defend the town?
They did.
Okay, and
No,
All right.
yes, not. Just
Yes, the
reading-
answer
reading
is-
what I read, I don't know.
Pardon?
Just reading the information behind it, I don't know. We may be wasting money, but okay.
I think the zoning board's decision, just me personally, I think it was a good decision, but, so the consensus is yes.
okay, and then on the other
Well,
case
there's
for
four
the
of us.
planning board, the planning board is meeting on June 13th. And if the Dari is requesting for John to come up before the planning board meeting, just to meet briefly ahead of time in case there are any questions that are coming up.
And he's gonna sit through the meeting, is he not?
He wouldn't assist with the meeting. It's best not to have him be part of the meeting, but he can speak with the planning board before the meeting, privately.
Oh, I know this, but
Yeah.
I find it interesting because we have had attorneys sitting in at planning board meetings in the past.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, and again, this is a continuing case,
right.
continuing use of the lawyer, but it's
Well,
interesting.
we're going to be spending money. Okay.
No, but it's the same case.
Yeah.
Different day, but the same
It's
case.
the same case that he's sitting with the planning board that he is with this one here?
No, but we already had a permission from the selectmen to consult Radigan on this case.
Right, and now
He
they're...
came up and met with the planning board.
Oh, he did meet with the planning board?
Yes, and we
Oh, okay.
discussed-
I thought that was just all done in writing.
No, we discussed this case.
Oh,
with
you
him.
did?
It's that case?
Yes. and
Okay.
So there's two different cases.
Yes.
The
Okay,
planning
got it.
board, and he was extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guided them in the process.
Yeah, 'cause
that
this is a
needed to
whole
take
new
place
thing.
at the next meeting, which was,
Okay, got
Peter
it.
attended, was
That
a
will
few
be on the
weeks ago.
13th.
So again, this is a continuing case.
So he's coming up again, if you say okay to pay for it,
John?
if you authorize it. Does he, and Dari feels he needs to have that?
Dari is the
It's
one
a
that
pretty
requested it.
tenuous case,
Yes,
yeah.
I agree. Okay,
Ashley,
good.
did you get the gist of that?
No, I just got back, so.
We have a planning board case. We had used Attorney Radigan to advise the planning board on how to proceed. It's an unusual case for the town. So the request is coming again to be able to continue to use Radigan for the same case, which is coming on the 13th. So we're just the planning board is asking if they could continue to use him as counsel on this case.
That way we're not shocked when we see a bill and say, why is this? They've forewarned us.
So the consensus is yes.
Good.
Definitely.
All right, now on upcoming meeting dates, now tell me again, on June 8th, who's coming in?
Hines
Pine?
Brock.
and Brock.
And Brock. Okay, on June 15th, I have the... Tim,
Public hearing for the grant,
public hearing,
and fire commissioners at 5:30.
and fire commissioners. Okay, and then on the 22nd, we're having land use tech interviews.
Correct.
Okay. Status reports, MSW, I have not had an opportunity to speak with Pedard this week. I can try tomorrow.
Can we make that happen for next week?
Yep.
Here's all the information on the number of barrels we need.
Yes, he's been given all that.
Find out where he's at.
To find out where he's at. And the last time I spoke to him, right, because we didn't meet last week, that his person in his office is working on doing a new flyer with the rules. So I'm anxious to see those.
But that shouldn't hold up our...
Yeah, I would say the past week or so, not counting today, the number of calls that we get, or that I've received, I'd say maybe it's down to like maybe 3 a week. It's the same thing. You know, either they missed or when do we get our recycling bin? So it's really dropped off. But today we got some calls because none of us read our flyer, which says on these holidays, which says in the flyer, there's a little black square around Memorial Day saying that when a holiday falls on a Monday, these holidays, which names the holidays and it's on the calendar, both Tuesday and Thursday are delayed 1 day. So I brought our garbage up on the porch out there.
I saw it.
And then when I
But
leave,
they did pick up Tuesday.
Correct.
they did pick up Tuesdays?
Yes.
Yeah, they picked up
Those Mondays
Tuesday.
It's
pickup.
just delayed.
But it was Monday's pickup that was delayed
Right,
until
because
Tuesday.
Monday, yes, right.
So Thursdays,
But the confusion, if anyone's watched the videos, Tony had commented that he was considering picking up holiday or not.
he did say that.
Right.
That's why I was,
Yeah, he said once he gets the other truck up and going,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, right,
Well, that definitely needs to be clarified.
yeah, well, it
The
is,
next holiday is in what, a month?
yeah, and it's all, we need to remind people on the website. Tim did put out an alert to people to let them know that put your garbage out tomorrow.
at 3:30 today.
Well, that's when it really came to our
Well,
attention.
they can't put it out before 5.
Right,
Huh? No, after I'm driving home and seeing all the trash out there, then I get the text, oh, okay, that explains it.
right. Yeah, because a lot of people get home and say, oh, they didn't pick up my trash, why?
All right.
But normally what would happen is it's that holiday one is the one that gets bumped, everyone else should have stayed the same.
Just a minute.
Well, no, what you'd do is they'd have to double up on Tuesday to get Monday, and then the rest of the week should have stayed.
They took their 4 hours.
Well, if we had read our flyers, we would have known.
All right, so you're going to straighten that out. We're going to get that posted.
Which flyer was that, the recycle flyer?
Yes, that went out to everybody.
On a non-recycle week. It's a non-recycle week, so I don't go back to read everything on that flyer.
All right, well, we'll straighten it out, get it posted
Well,
on
maybe
the
in our
website.
new flyer for 2018,
Should
we'll
say trash and recycling.
trash and recycling. Okay. police station, you all got a copy, and I had to make these color for you, otherwise it really wouldn't mean anything. This is the Blue Moon Environmental. Gail, do you have your copy?
No, I don't.
Pardon me?
I just had it. Do you have an extra? Chief, get one? Chief, get one? Okay, she did share.
And I apologize, Catherine, I did not email your questions to her. I did send it to Gary. And he's happy.
Well, in my attempt to organize myself, I seem to have misplaced it anyway.
Sure.
Well, I had notes on mine, but thank you.
Well,
Did everybody
Take it away.
have a chance to look at Blue Moon Environmental's
Yes.
report? Did everybody understand the designation of the wetlands on both properties? There aren't any wetlands on one, but the 100-foot setback. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. Sorry, I'll stop looking. Has an effect on it. Oh, I got it! Yay! Thank you, yes, thank you.
what are we looking for today?
So is everybody seeing that?
Oh, that exemption.
Lot 6, there's no wetlands on the property, but that big prime wetland, the 100-foot setback, has an effect. So one of my questions was, if you look at that picture of Lot 6 and the wetland delineation and the 100-foot buffer, I don't know what this green squiggly line is, because the blue represents the boundary of that wetlands. And if you look at the green squiggly line, 100 feet from some of those points, 100 feet varies, if you see what I mean. 100 feet should be 100 feet. Shouldn't be a cloud. So I'd really like to see where that 100-foot boundary is, because this can't be right.
On 6?
On 6.
See?
Lot 6.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
I like the fact that on 15, we don't have to have a 100-foot, it's 20-foot buffer.
It's a 20-foot buffer. So my question on this one was, where is, if you look at Lot 15 layout, there's a line that goes across the top. And my question is, what is that boundary?
Well, she has approximate property corner, but she should have said the approximate easement corner.
Well, so I'm wondering, is that the PSNH right-of-way? And if it is, why, in the lower section, is there a pole? Looks like there's 2 poles, dead right in the middle of the property.
The easement should be this way. This is the PSNH easement this way, right? Where's 132?
Here, if you look at this
I believe
picture,
132 is here.
this is the easement here.
And the easement should go across
Is
the
this
top.
132 here?
Yes.
Should be on
Okay.
the left.
Then this is the easement right here then.
Well, it doesn't say that. Usually when you show an easement, it's a dotted line, not a solid boundary line.
Then, because this is the power lines that go up through here, right here. If this is 132 here, this is the power lines right here.
That's the, see, our property extends beyond that. That should not be drawn in as a boundary line, a solid line is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's questionable. I suspect that that is the
Is
right
this
of
our
way.
boundary line here?
Yes, that's actually the end of our property, and within that deed is a right-of-way, which I'm assuming is the top piece, for PSNH, and it's in perpetuity.
Now, can we do parking lots in that right of way as long as they have access to their,
Underneath the power line?
I don't know,
Yes.
if you read the
We can.
deed, it's pretty restrictive. You probably have to get their
We
permission.
can do an impervious surface under there,
okay.
yes.
But it doesn't say that in the deed. I've read the deed.
I know, I have too.
So you would have to get their permission to
Okay,
do that.
but it's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my other question, so that still leads me to why on earth are there power poles going across the property there? There's nothing in the deed that says they have a right of way. You see what I'm saying? There's a PSNH pole 70 over there beside 132.
Yeah.
There's a PSNH pole in just off middle to the left.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that says pole line in a green circle up there within that wetland.
Yep. Now, these Ws, these are just little wetland flags that you stuck little flags in the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but they do indicate wetland 1 down in the bottom, wetland 2 above, and wetland 3 over on the left. There's 3 wetlands she's identifying.
What, the,
What is the yellow area?
That's our anchor wetlands or something.
No, that was one of my other questions.
Yeah, there's really no legend.
yeah,
No,
there's
it's-
a legend on the other one. On this one here, there's a legend. Joyce,
Where do you see a legend?
Oh, here.
right here.
Yeah.
Can't read it.
Well, yeah, but that goes with, yes, that goes with that, but it doesn't pertain to what she's done.
But the yellow down there,
I don't see yellow on the left, and the legend on that map.
It's like drain water or something?
Poorly drained soils, no vernal pools. Wetland 2. I can't see anything in her definition under lot 15 that she talks about what that yellow is. So that's another question for her. So our next step is to have the borings done on both these properties?
Yeah.
Do we have somebody to do the clearing that's necessary? And if there's isn't there a woods road on lot 15?
I believe there is. She says Industrial Park Drive, it's Business Park Drive.
It's probably, Woods Road's gonna be close to the lines.
She has a wood road intersection, almost dead center, it's a little south of dead center. And then it says CL Road at Power Clearing.
Required 20-foot buffer.
Have to drive up there and check it out.
Well, if you go to the, let me see, the aerial, the Google one of it,
Can you see the road?
the road looks like it's just to the right of where you see lot 15 going out back, which would be, to me, along this black line here,
Interesting.
is about where the road is. But she referenced that areas 1 and 2 were near a road?
She's got that road intersection right dead center.
Yeah.
So do we have somebody to
Previously
do the clearing for the
Yeah,
boring?
the clearing is our responsibility,
So do we have anybody to do that?
I haven't made any inquiries. Do you want me
So
to?
we have a list of people we know that do that work.
And we have to coordinate with the geotech person on where he wants to do his boring.
Exactly.
I don't know if Gary would go out there and signify where he wants those dug, and then we would get the,
Who's hiring the geotech people for me?
he's hiring.
He's hiring.
He's
All
hiring
right,
the
then
geotech.
you'd have to contact him and ask him if they're going to flag the areas.
Flag them, and then we'll get somebody to come out.
And then we'd have to get some kind of map from him showing where the flags are.
I
And
can do
then we
that.
can send
The
that
other
out.
thing is, how wide a swath do you need to get the drill rig in?
Exactly.
If you only need 6 foot, we don't need to clear 12.
And we have permission from him to do that, right?
Yeah. Like the area, okay. Now,
Now-
we're gonna do both or just one? Because
We should do
paid
both. We paid for both.
for one day for both.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Catherine, you said something, you didn't understand these.
so the blue is the wetlands. There's
Mapping is
100,
right here.
that's her mapping. Those are her little flags.
Here, do we?
But the blue indicates the wetland. That she's saying there's 100-foot buffer from. So if you look at that green squiggly line, and you took
There's 1
a
inch
measuring
equals 100
device
feet.
and measure 100 feet off of this, well,
This, well, she's going by, that's where she flagged the edges of the wetlands, right?
no,
Not the shadow.
those are just her flags.
So what is the
See,
purplish
The
corridor
wetlands.
that's,
see
Wait.
this? You can go to, and I went there to,
Those are the USGS maps, right?
no, okay, so if you go to this regional supplement to the Corps of Engineers Wetland Delineation Manual, no, I went there, there's another one. Oh, I went there, and then within that, there is another guide that New Hampshire has that shows these, so that's where she got this map by New Hampshire grant.
And what they do
So if
is,
you look at the purple, there is the wetland, and
They-
that shape corresponds with the shape she put here, and it corresponded with what I found on the website. So the green squiggly line and her lines here do not correspond with what everybody else is saying is that big wetland.
if you look on those ones that are listed online, those weren't actually mapped wetlands. Those are approximate locations of wetlands.
The one I looked at, that was mapped.
And when she actually goes out and does the official mapping of the edges, that's where she puts her flags on. And
Okay.
if where the flags are, that's within the 100 feet.
Okay, but if you look at her flags, then it makes no sense, because the distance from,
It does.
no, it doesn't. If you're saying this is the wetland that she's mapped, and there's a 100-foot buffer from there, well, the distance between that point and that point
Yes.
is 100 feet? Well,
No,
the
no,
distance
no, no.
between that and
Hang on,
that
hang on.
is not
Let me show
100
you.
feet.
From there to there, if you draw from here, if you do a circle completely around this, that's 100 feet. And this circle here intersects with that circle, so this area is
Well,
irrelevant.
where's 100 feet from that? It's not this
It's with-
distance.
But this part here already covers, and this one here covers that.
So you're saying if I took a pencil
And erased out all the other lines.
and did this,
And
but
did
they're not
all
perfect, and did
those.
all these circles, well, somehow you're missing a circle here.
Well, that's that one, it's just a little piece of it, or a piece of one of these. And that's why it comes.
I see what you're saying, so these are the farthest points.
Yeah, and that's where the circles intersected, and they basically she erased them.
I see what you're saying. So do you hear what John is saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you,
So there's
John.
only that small where it says IP at PL, that's really the only place you couldn't put anything.
Where is,
You'd have to be outside that green line.
Yeah, so from what
Where's
John
IP?
said, and it makes sense, that green line does represent a 100-foot buffer. So it only affects that small lower corner.
Yep.
The rest is all buildable, and it's flat, okay?
green line?
Green circles.
Green
Back
circle,
to- Are we on lot 6 or 15?
6.
Oh, that's why.
He resolved that issue. Thank
cloud.
you.
The wetlands, the wet clouds.
You prove yourself invaluable every time.
So, okay, so what are we saying on 6?
What does IP at PC mean?
IP at PL.
Iron pipe at property line.
Okay.
IP at PL, what's IP at PC?
Property corner, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody else's corner.
Well, no, it's that, see that green one right near that corner part? That's,
Somebody else's corner.
yeah. See
Okay.
lots.
So our next step is to get the corings, the borings done.
Yep.
I would think that once that's done, then we could choose a property and then create a committee and tell them to go forth and develop a police station on that property. That sound reasonable?
Yes.
So let's get the boring done.
Getting excited over there?
I am,
Oh, this is, yeah, hold your breath here.
yeah.
Now, behind you are all the
Mhm.
floor plans, so just so you know.
Yeah, we'll address those later,
All right,
but I think, you know,
but we're starting with those,
I'm
right?
excited.
I don't think we should abandon those. I think the Board of Selectmen should choose a piece of property, choose a design, or maybe a couple of designs. From what I understand, all of those show 2-bay Sally ports, and I believe we have requested a 3-bay.
3-bay, yeah.
So, I mean, those are really great.
We can tweak them.
So it's real easy for the committee to go forward and
Yep.
Tweak, yep.
repair, and then we have, if we're gonna have Pat do it, then I think there's no fears.
Have Pat
He's an old hand at this.
Wait.
So
So
I've got the
let's-
questions here, so just on lot 15, that the PSNH right-of-way should be shown as a dot. We want to know what the yellow area is.
Just confirm with her that that is,
Confirm,
that
okay.
it is the
All right, so shouldn't have to change
right-of-way
anything.
line.
Okay.
She doesn't have to change it, just
All right.
confirm with her. I'm pretty sure it is, but let's confirm.
And we want to know why that pole's in there, and then on the other one, John solved that one.
Yeah, we should find out why those poles are
Now,
there.
she did charge us the full 900. I have her invoice here.
Okay. Let's tighten up the borings. You're gonna send out, you're gonna contact the engineer. He's gonna get back to us as soon as possible.
Yeah. And he'll be able to give me a scope of
A scope of work,
what needs to be cleared.
where, mapping, and we're gonna have a list all prepared of tree people to send out in the woods, or get bids from.
Will you use your
Do I have one?
Your list that you prepared, and I added some, and
Oh, that
Took some
list is
off. You
huge.
have that.
Yes, okay, I forgot about that.
How many trees?
How
are we
wide are
looking
they?
to take out?
You gotta cut.
I don't know, that's what we're gonna find
I
out.
don't think it's gonna be that big.
well, the truck has to be able to drive into where, say it's at the very
Drill
back of
rig.
the lot.
No, it's a track-mounted drill rig.
He said the truck would have to have access, but you're gonna find out anyway.
Well, check with what the borer is using. Normally, it's a track machine.
You got your chainsaw, Peter?
Yes.
I think maybe a couple of the officers might even.
I got
Well,
one.
well, I was gonna say, I'll take the hardwood, Catherine can have the softwood.
I don't-
Need some
I don't
hardwood?
have a
Tractor.
fireplace, so,
Do you have a fireplace?
no.
Well, you can get some pine, you can
All
camp
right,
in the yard.
can you, do you think you can have that for us next week?
Build furniture.
Light a
Yeah,
fire
that
into them? Week after,
Yeah, I know, a wood
latest?
shop, you might be able to work
Thank you,
out.
Joyce. All right, next,
Fine.
Okay,
Old Route 3?
White
No,
oak?
Main Street
Oh,
sidewalk,
white oak.
right?
Mm-hmm.
yep.
You do red oak at all or not?
Some.
Okay, estimates for masonry work. There's two things really here, also the town hall. Do I have the town hall in here? Yeah, I have that under other, yeah, this is Main Street sidewalk. He can be ready to go July 10th. He wanted to know what the plans were for the windows and taking the ramp off.
You can do our sidewalk July 10th?
Now,
So-
Stonehenge gave us an estimate, $3,600. Did everybody see that?
I don't think
What's
so.
that, 1,200 a window? Yeah, I've seen it.
To do,
To block them in, take up the.
To fix the
windows.
bricks, block them in. What are we gonna do, block them in, fill it with gravel, compact it, take the bricks out of the wall and,
wasn't there a reason why we shouldn't block them in? Didn't somebody say that there was a reason that?
yeah,
Oh,
ventilation.
ventilation and sunlight.
We don't want sunlight destroying our records. Anyway,
It's done.
so do we only have the one estimate?
Right, because we never heard back from Freddie Shepherd. He did come and look at it.
You contact Peg? You contacted Peg?
And I
Okay,
thought we had another one. Okay.
all right. So the question is,
Friday, I
Selectmen,
couldn't do it.
do we want to go forward and remove the ramp and fill in the windows? Peter?
The plastic cover and keep everything as is and do what repairs we need to ourselves.
Remove the ramp?
Not
Leave the ramp.
saw cut as close to it as they can with the saw. Any pavement that's old that's left, I buy a 5-gallon bucket of driveway sealer, it'll come almost as black as the new pavement.
Ashley?
Shouldn't somebody be doing a motion for reconsideration?
Yeah,
Well, point of order. We've
No,
already
we're having a
voted
conversation.
5, 6 times.
There's no
number 6.
motion on the table yet. There's no need of putting a motion on the table if we all agree to remove the ramp.
But we all did agree this will be the 5th
That's
time.
okay, it's still up there now.
So we're gonna keep voting till,
Yep, so Ashley, remove the ramp or
Whatever, I don't care.
Pat?
I'm gonna say remove the ramp. Are we talking about the windows too?
Yep.
We need to repair. If we're not gonna remove the windows, we need to repair around the windows before we do that work, because they're caving in.
And bubble them over with a protective thing so the weather can't get down in there and snow?
Right. I don't see that we need to remove the windows, but we do need to repair the masonry in the brick in that hole there. Each one.
Okay.
We need to repair that.
I haven't changed my mind on the ramp. It can be removed or stayed. I do not want to spend the money to brick in the windows. I'm with you on repairing it and bubbling them over. If push came to shove, I'd probably say, because we don't have anybody to remove the ramp, I'd say leave the ramp. John?
I was surprised at the price of replacing or walling in the windows, but it does make sense. If you're gonna do it, you gotta make sure they're all strong and watertight and all that. It's gotta be there forever. So I would agree with the fixing of the window wells and raising those curbs up higher on them a little bit,
Good point.
so that we get the grade right, and I'm adamant about removing that ramp so that we do the whole thing right, do it once, the last time in my lifetime, and grade it so that the water is going away from the window wells.
So right now, the last motion was to remove the ramp. Am I correct?
Yep.
That's what's standing here now, was remove the ramp. Who do we have to remove the ramp? And who do we have to put it back?
Well, the one person that I was aware of that came out and looked at it said that it wasn't a good idea.
That's one person.
One person.
That might be his skill level as a carpenter.
Right.
Well, you better be prepared if he's right. What are we gonna do if you can't put that thing back?
You're gonna rebuild it.
Good.
I took a good look at it. The thing is, the ramp is set on 4x4 posts that are put into the anchors on the ground with nails put on the side. There's a fascia board along the ramps which are black bolted in. It's a matter of taking the ramp off, taking the rail off, and taking the fascia off, putting it aside and do it.
Where do we
I do
put
it myself if you put a trailer out there, so this thing gets done right.
I got a
We
trailer.
get the sidewalk, I'll do it myself
Split the
and
trailer.
guarantee it.
Fine, it's
I
gonna
won't
get
even charge
warped
for
and
it if that's what we
We're
got.
we're just wasting money, but go ahead. The pavement under it, no one's ever gonna touch.
But the grading is wrong.
But the problem is, you can't get to the
You can't
windows
fix the
and
window
repair
wells.
the
Okay.
windows properly unless that ramp is taken off.
So,
Well, do you want me to call it Stonehenge and have him revise his?
I think I think the consensus is that not to block up the windows. That is kind of a high price, so let's get rid of that first. Does everybody agree that we need to repair the brickwork that's there and then cover them over with those basement window bubbles?
Yes.
Does everybody agree with that?
Something protective,
Well,
yes.
I'm fine with repair the brickwork and then.
Okay. All right, so that is done.
Right.
Now we have a motion that we made to remove the ramp. And we need to deal with that. We need to deal with that quickly. That was one of the things I wanted to ask Brock. What about any bids that he got for doing this wall? So we have a list of
One bid on the wall.
two bids on the
two
wall.
bids. Let's talk about the wall.
Yeah. So we have a list of carpenters.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, should be compiling one. That seems to have been a problem with this project.
The issue that we
So-
have with the ramp is that it's composite material. That's the issue that you have. The fascia board on the side is just a board that's put on there for looks. And it's composite, and it is gonna, when you take it off, it is gonna move and all around because it's plastic. That's what it is, it's plastic. But when
The
you,
stringers?
right, when you look under the.
Okay, we're talking about just the fascia, now you're talking about stringers.
No, talking about.
That the fascia
I'm
was just
talking about the
decorative.
facial look, it's just decorative. But if you just were able to take the decorative fascia board off and then remove the ramp off of it, leave the landing portion of it there, and just take the ramp off, we would be in good stead. They could get in, do the windows properly, and then bank everything out of there. The landing portion of it underneath, where the door is, that would be fine there.
Well, it's only held on with some lag bolts and right into the.
Well, you wouldn't have to take that off.
Why wouldn't you?
No,
You wouldn't do the whole thing right
No,
once.
I'm talking about the board that's lagged into the building that this is sitting on.
Right.
But you have to take that off the
Well,
building.
not. There's 4 lag bolts.
Well, sometimes they're anchored in, I don't know. I mean, lag bolted into brick scares me.
If it was my house.
I would hope there's anchors in there.
Do it right and remove it and get it paved
Okay.
underneath.
No, right now the motion it was voted on that we are removing the ramp. I'm trying to get to the process of
Getting
who we're gonna
somebody to do
get
it.
somebody to do it. And I appreciate your volunteerism to do it. But I think that we need to have, we need to have some bids.
Yeah,
We need to have carpenters that know their stuff to come and look at it and let them know, we want to take this off, it's a composite material, and get their opinions and their expertise to remove it and replace it, and, oh, well, if it warps and twists, and you said you could put it back on, sucks to be you.
The issue that I see, what happens, you have a U-brace underneath that the 4x4s are sitting into. And you take out the 4x4s on the landing, on the porch part of it, and you take all that off. Are you going to leave the U-brackets down there in that place?
The grading's gonna change, they're gonna have to bore and put different ones in.
So then, if you take that out, are you guaranteed to get those U-brackets back in where the other ones
Or you cut
came
the
out.
4x4 a little
Oh, the
bit shorter.
template.
I have watched them move houses, I've lifted up sheds,
Yeah.
I've jacked up my own house and
Yeah.
replaced the sills on it and done that. Removing this
Come
deck
into
is,
mind.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
removing this deck is not a big thing.
you already, the deck itself is the
I mean-
template, so, yes, you can definitely put those back, you can bore through the asphalt, you can fill it with concrete, and you can put your braces in and you're good to go. But we need to get people to give us prices on this, to look at it and see how they're going to do it. Let them know it's gotta be done before July 10th.
Well, and it has to be done before the, we'll see what his price is.
Well, we've gotta get,
It's gonna be done before the windows get
Right.
done. And then that means we're gonna have no handicap access for a
That's
few
right.
weeks.
Yeah.
people will have to go out to people
Yep.
to deliver services.
Yeah.
All right, these requests for proposals, this project's gotta go out now. It can't wait.
Mhm.
We
It
gotta
has to
get it
go out.
done. We gotta get it done.
Can it be done? And I'll be glad to help you next week. All right, everybody,
Yep,
plan,
yep, it's a plan.
go forward and,
Okay, and then Carter knows, he's been notified. I sent him an email saying July 10th.
that's the tentative date.
Yep. Winnisquam, public meeting, email communications from the abutter. Catherine spoke to her. I had prepared just a little list of talking points if you wanted to put something in writing to her.
I don't think at this point it's necessary. I
Okay.
had a very short conversation with her. I didn't tell her anything different that took place at the public hearing. I just reinstated that our project is a paving and grading project, and it's only gonna take place within our boundary,
Yep.
and that whatever takes place in the right-of-way / driveway between the store and the house is civil, and it doesn't involve the town. I let her know we're gonna be painting parking spaces. It's just temporary, it's a test. Please let us know if there's a problem with them, if you see any improvements that could be made, etc., because they are just a test.
Okay.
She was very pleased with that. And I think she's fine. She has my cell phone number. I told her she could contact any one of the selectmen, the town administrator, and we'd be more than happy to speak with her. And I hope I didn't speak out of turn.
Okay, it's employee evaluation time again. It's June. They're due July 1st, and I just wanted to make sure that we were using the same forms. The
I thought we
police-
hated the
police have
form.
their own.
I thought every time we used the form, we hated it.
No, it was the one that you guys did 2 years ago.
I thought we hated it.
We've been using it.
Yes, I say we use it.
Yeah.
We redid it 2 years ago.
It was Joe hated the grading.
Yep,
Yeah.
He hated the grading. I have to tell you, I agreed with him.
Peter did too.
I didn't like the grade form.
Well, the time to change it is not now.
All right, so
I
we're gonna go ahead
suggest
and set
strongly
it up.
after
So it's
we,
next week, huh?
strongly after we do this round, that we continue with the form and put it in the format that's most acceptable.
Yeah.
But let's not delay this. We seem to be on time this year.
My only issue with the form was that it was 14 pages.
When I think we all
14-page
talked about that
evaluation
there was some repetitiveness to the descriptions in the form, didn't you
Right.
think so?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's go
Yeah,
forward,
The
that's
other
all we
part of
have.
that is to make sure that the supervisors that would be filling out the forms, that they fill in the comment section on everything.
They have to complete the
Yes.
form.
Yes.
Complete. So for employees we've had, we should
Somebody's
see
wonderful, say why.
last year's objectives, this year's objectives, and future objectives.
Okay. And then, do you want to do, for town hall staff, did you want to do the same as last year if you did them, or did you want to swap that up?
Yeah, swap it up.
Okay,
Well, we have to swap it up because Joe did it.
that's right, Joe did them.
So
Well, do you want to start with highway? Who wants to do Brock?
you do Brock because you're the liaison.
Okay,
Nate Val Poller.
Joe did Gale last year.
I'll do Gary.
Oh, you were looking for one of us? I'm like, okay, I was waiting for you to,
Oh, that's what that was.
yeah, you were in the same place I was?
Yeah.
All
I was
right,
waiting for the rest of the story.
I accept chocolates.
okay.
Bribery.
Bribery.
Catherine, I'll take you again.
No, listen. Just ignore me.
I'm ignoring you.
Negative
Now,
5.
Dari can do Al.
Oh, very good. Why don't you do Dari?
Okay, because you did him last year. You want me to do
So
I'll do
let's,
Dari.
we're gonna shake it up, so why don't you do Dari?
Yep.
So I can embarrass.
I had a comment on the review process.
Well,
I-
let's get through Joyce's list
Just a
of,
couple more. Tim,
Why don't you do that?
you do Tim.
I'm biased. I really am.
That's
I've
all right.
known him
Well,
for too
he did-
long and I've
Why
circled
don't you do
him.
Tim?
Do you want,
You do
yeah,
Tim.
you're IT. Okay.
Okay.
And then Heather. How about? Peter?
Timing sucks because it's my end of the year.
Why
Okay.
doesn't Pat do Heather? Do you mind?
I'm biased about this one.
I'll do Heather.
Okay.
That won't be.
All right, then, how about Peter, you do Catherine? You're new, so did you want to jump in on this?
Health
Peter.
officer. Just not a selectman.
No, I
Or
know.
you might want to add in a little bit of tidbits on selectmen.
No, I'll add sewer instead.
Okay, this is what we have. Joyce is doing Brock, Pat's doing Gail, Peter's doing Catherine, Catherine's doing me, Dari's doing Al, John's doing Tim, Joyce is doing Dari, and Catherine's doing Heather. And you do the chief?
All right, could you make that list and
And
send,
Cindy does
Chief, chocolate.
Tim.
can you send that list to us, please?
And with Dari, can you check with like the boards he works with to get input?
Yes, I will.
on zoning?
Good one.
Well, because
And we got,
Now, John, you had a comment.
yes, just one other thing. Do we do the attorney? Do we talk to the judge or Lauren?
The captain will, the
Talk to Lauren
captain
this year?
goes with Lauren to talk with Ned, maybe. I don't think that will be,
We'll see.
he's retiring.
Next year.
next year.
Next June. No, next
Next year.
2018.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's 18 for Gordon.
he's got one more year.
He'll be sorely missed. He's a great man. I'm biased.
Is it?
Prosecutors.
Chief, is it next year?
Yes.
No,
Sorry.
they're
that's fine.
trying to
I
fill
can
those
see why you're
spots
doing
now, there's 8 of them, and his is 1, so.
His, yeah, in the paper, it said 2018, I think,
Yeah, it was
August
in
or
the
June.
summer, June or July or
All right,
August.
Joyce,
Right,
everything,
great.
how about the rest? Public Works is all set?
Public Works is all set.
Who's doing the chief?
Pat.
Unless somebody else wants to do it.
Just don't be biased.
So should I like see this or?
Well, you'll see
You'll see them all.
Don't worry.
All of us review them,
Here's the question I
and
have
then we have our input in
on the
it.
process.
Yeah, you will have input.
All right, John?
Having taken part in different types of formal reviews and different types of forms and from different companies buying out and this, and I found one thing that works really well is to have employees also evaluate themselves on the same form and turn that in
Well, they don't.
and share it with it.
We used
And
to.
one of the reasons for that is a lot of times you can see whether an employee doesn't think they're doing that great or they have shortfalls in areas to improve. It's a good chance for people to get together and express what they are perceived of and how they perceive themselves. It's very enlightening, you know, the comments. I think Ashley said that. You've had that?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of
I've
weird,
never
but
seen it where it's
it's
not.
great.
Right.
I agree with John. The other thing I think that's really important, and I think it got a little bit messed up last year because of timing, And I think it's extremely important that the person that's doing the evaluation meet with the person
Yes.
before they come to the Board of Selectmen. And then if there's corrections or additions or anything that there's some type of changes, they get back to the employee before all of a sudden they see it in their paycheck or whatever. They should go back and feedback that if there's changes from the Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
And then, again, that didn't happen.
Well, it did with Public
A
Works.
couple, yeah, but it didn't happen
Have a
within
couple
town hall staff.
town hall people.
Okay, but we
Right.
should make sure that happens.
Right, so, all right, so when we send out these evaluation forms, give them to everybody, have them fill them out,
Yep.
and then the evaluator will have their form, fill them out, they'll sit down, they'll talk about it,
That should go with all town employees, not just town.
and then when it comes to the selectmen, because the selectmen have made changes, because they perceive things differently than I do, or
So that means that the chief's gonna need to pass that out to all your offices as well.
Ours does that, what he's saying, ours does that.
Okay, okay.
especially when it comes to doing the goals, because we always like kind of shortchange ourselves on the goals.
Okay.
All right, so
We're
next
good?
week,
So,
all right,
2 copies of...
When are they due?
To each employee, or
Set a
will
date.
be-
well, the rates go into effect the first pay period in July.
We need to pick a date, because we always say, we never pick a date, and it's like the second week in July and then we have to
Oh, we've
retroactive.
done this in
Third-
August.
Yeah, how about third
Oh, yeah,
week in
yeah.
July?
Last year they would do January 23rd. This
June.
year maybe the 22nd.
June, you mean?
June
What
23rd.
did I say?
-10, here goes another one, let me write this down.
January.
January?
Yeah,
All right,
Oh. June.
okay, so
third meeting in June,
4th meeting,
fourth meeting?
June 22nd that they're due.
Well, they should be due before that. We should have them by the 20th, so that we can
20th.
review them before the meeting.
We usually have a special meeting to review just
Right, but
that.
you're gonna have an awful lot to review this year.
We'll be reviewing that in between the interviews.
No, we usually have a
No,
special
we're not,
meeting.
I don't think we're gonna have a meeting on the 22nd with this.
We've had
Usually,
special
yeah.
ones, special meetings.
You're gonna have to, we'll have to do something different, because
Well,
you're gonna have
before
a
you
lot
go
of
to-
reading.
Before you go to special meetings, you may want to chat with Ashley because of her work schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, you get the tricky schedule.
What day
I'm-
is it?
I'm
Well, we
pretty
haven't scheduled anything for
If
the
we
last,
get
what's the
to
last
another week,
Thursday, the
that
29th?
Is the one that works.
We haven't scheduled anything. We could take that whole night just to do these reviews.
That'd be good, because I won't be here.
Oh, then you can't pass in your
Oh, I haven't
Could
been
we-
before.
Also, with the
Haven't been
reviews,
to the board before.
get a copy of their job description.
They get a copy with their
And
evaluation.
we might also want to ask, if you want to do it then or a different time, if there's any changes or anything that they feel is incorrect with their job description or the way we should tweak it and get that whole
Yep.
job and personnel done.
yeah, should be done right.
Do you want a
Okay.
copy of last year's evaluations of that?
Mhm.
Yes, and last year's evaluation. Okay.
Yes, I always ask you for last year's evaluation.
All right, so let's tentatively schedule the 29th for reviewing these. Is that all right with everybody?
Then we don't have to have a special.
Well, we won't be doing them in August.
Yep.
We won't be ready for July 1st, but at least we won't be doing them in August. Okay.
Well,
So nothing else except review
I
evaluations.
would just do our normal business and review evaluations. Nobody comes in, like I said, unless they're gushing blood.
okay, water heater replacement for Riverfront Park. Did he ever get back to you with the Renai estimate?
No.
Okay, and I sent him another reminder, Dave.
And I contacted 4 other plumbers.
You did,
Yeah, I have a friend of mine, he's right out straight, he was gonna give me a price.
okay.
Couldn't
So,
promise me when he could do it.
and I also asked him about when you're gonna come do the faucet switch, and he didn't respond, so I'll try and find another phone. Okay,
I didn't have any luck getting them to respond back to me, the ones that I contacted.
I think the problem is that, we're just starting with plumbers.
We don't use many plumbers here, but there's a lot of plumbers out there.
There are plumbers out there.
Well, a lot of plumbers.
There is
Of
it's in
town
May or snow.
hall stage repairs. We have Josh's estimate for the electrical work. And he had, when I read it, he had suggested cat 5, and I sent it to Tim. I said, Tim, is this acceptable? And Tim said, no, he should put in cat 6. So I sent him that. We have 2 estimates. Did that other person come
Yeah,
in
they taste
today?
like chicken.
They need a license?
He didn't. All right, so we have 2 estimates for the,
I talked to his father, though. He told him, send him in.
we have one that's for $4,561.34, and we have another one for $3,250.
I had an idea.
One is for 2x6 construction and one is for 2x4 construction.
Correct.
I had an idea. I think that we should have Leland and Kevin work on a Saturday with us, go out and buy the lumber and put it up. It'll cost us 4 or 5 hours of overtime for Kevin and Leland. They both have construction backgrounds. I got a framing nailer, compressor. We can go out and get the insulation, 2x6s or what, 2x8s, whatever you want.
2x4s.
2x4s.
That's not
That's
very
not-
long.
2x4s is not going to give you much insulation so that you don't have that noise level there.
But you're gonna have sheetrock on both sides.
Yeah,
That's insulating in itself.
So how much noise you worried about?
but you're not going to worry about too much. It's just going to be cavern
What are
in
you
there.
doing back there?
Right.
Snoring. No, the insulation was more for the fact that if there's a table up there that we could use for non-publics, so we're not displacing
Right.
employees down here. You're now gonna have employees over here as well as Johanna, so non-publics here during the day are just not gonna be feasible. So we can create a space up here with a table, some chairs, non-public.
In case we have to meet with the lawyer or something,
Yeah.
that would be fine.
Yeah,
But
All
I
right, so
think it would,
2x6s then?
2x4 is sufficient, I think. with the-
I think
Don't
it
you
would be
think
much cheaper
three-quarter inch?
to have them come in on a Saturday
Yeah.
than to pay $4,000 for somebody to come up and do the job and,
Well, the other one is for $32.50, that's labor and materials, and that's with us paying for the materials.
That's paint?
And then the difference goes
That's-
to the person.
that's, so $3,200 and we buy the materials.
No, that's including the materials.
And the other
Lump
thing
sum,
is
$32.50.
that's putting the sheet rock up,
Mhm.
mudding it, sanding it, priming it, painting it. It's not that bad for that size. If they're going to mud both sides
Paint both sides.
and paint both sides,
So $3,200?
it's got the, I thought
Is
it's
it
a
2x6?
Probably do it quicker, I don't know.
Primer.
I don't really care. I just want it up.
Paint tray.
We need to
paint
get them
bucket.
up here and working up here because we're gonna hire somebody and they don't have room
Well, yeah, and
downstairs.
this was also 2 men, 5 days over an 8-day period, whereas this was just one person.
So here's the
And
question.
how long is it gonna take on the 3,200?
Here is the
days.
question.
5
Um,
days with sanding and painting.
The wall is going to be located beyond that little.
Yep,
in
Behind it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's where we had talked about putting it,
yep.
last time we talked about putting up a wall. So this will be a shelf. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
So,
Woo-hoo, getting rid of the curtain.
so, do you want me to
Shocker.
find out from this person, the $32.50, what that would, when, how long
Bring it
that
down a
would
little
take?
bit more, how much time. And in the meantime, I'll see if we can get some more bids. Could you please contact Brock and ask him if he got any bids? He had a bunch of people he was gonna call.
Okay.
And ask him if he'll do the ramp. 3250 guy.
You know, that's a good idea.
Just have them do it?
No, ask the guy that bid on this here if he'll remove the ramp.
Call both of those people and see if they'll bid on that ramp as a separate
Oh,
job.
this one?
Both of them, yes. both of them.
Okay. That's it.
I know.
Okay.
Does everybody else know?
To do up here,
Yeah.
the 32.
Hear me?
Can I see it?
Good job. Spread that down the table.
And it's 2x4s, not 2x6s. It's everything on that, but 2x4s.
It doesn't say that.
What? No, this one.
Oh.
Let them know who that is.
And I'll write it down.
Okay.
All right, and my last thing is our lust fund,
Lustful.
the lust fund. I sent you all
So are we all set on the
read it.
3,200?
No, we're gonna get
dates and times.
dates and times. We're gonna get more information on the
And then we have to
3,200.
wait till next week to make a motion to go ahead and do it?
But does that matter, the dates and times?
Right, does it matter? Let's just get it done. As soon as ASAP. Otherwise, we have to wait next week to make a
Okay.
motion.
Does anybody care if that work gets done during the weekend?
No, not at all.
That would be
Preferably. Preferable.
All right. Do you guys need more bids? Are you good with that? You know who
Good.
the people are?
I'm good.
My only question was, did they say this? Because if that's the case, to me, it's not there.
No.
The
Okay.
first.
Or did he?
Oh, no, they didn't.
But
Did
I
he
can't,
say
I'm
Yes.
trying,
What does it
Yes.
say in red? I see
Yeah.
labor,
Yes. The answer to your question is yes. Yes.
yes what?
They did see it.
You did see that?
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
I didn't talk to him.
okay. Now,
Because he offered to
Is
make
that-
that after he saw that.
Okay.
Oh.
is that labor and materials or just labor?
No, it's labor and materials. We would use the town credit card.
No, no, well, then it,
Well,
Yeah,
that's
which would
why,
be-
that's why I wanted it broken down, because I didn't hear this part of it. That's why I said we should have it broken down. How much,
Well, and I asked him to do that. He said, we go by the materials, and then,
subtract the
well, then,
materials
well,
from
then
that
you need to
price?
go back to the other one and say, okay, what part of your bid was the materials, because we're paying for it up front, so that you're gonna, because right now it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, and he's right.
No.
And that's bad enough, but I hate when you show someone, here's a bid, can you beat
Can I see
it?
that again?
Well, no, that isn't how it took place.
Okay, well, I don't even,
The
yeah,
bid came in, it's a public document, he saw it, and then he said, well, I'll do this. But what we should do is
you want to
ask
throw in a price, John?
this one,
$31.50 plus materials?
they gave us the more professional looking bid, if he could price it for 2x4 construction, because it's not a barren wall.
I will call him tomorrow, and we buy the materials.
I might have some questions too after I read it.
Oh, okay, this is a 2x6.
Right.
Yes,
And that's two people.
2 men, 2 just, okay, and it's $2,800. Okay, I get it.
It's still probably going to be two people,
This
you
morning
just may be a little
done,
bit
and done
quicker.
quickly, and that's why I said,
well, let's not
This was
move
the
too
lower
quickly.
bid. let's just, okay,
Can I
get the
see that?
answers done.
I might
Yeah,
have a
this
couple more
was-
questions.
This number was given to me on a sticky note, and I lost the sticky note, so I rewrote it.
Got it.
That's why it's in red. It's probably stuck on the back of something.
Oh. Oh, so this is it. Well, see, I can't go with this till I see something, because I don't see anything about who's gonna make sure that those joints are done right, nice and smooth sanded, enough to project onto it.
There's a line.
Unless you do that every day, or you've done a lot of it, you can't tape and plaster a joint.
You want me to
Yes.
get as 2x4s and go with this?
You need to contact him and ask him to bid it for 2x4 construction.
Yeah.
I had asked him for 2x4, and
Okay.
he may have forgotten and just went standard with 2x6, because it's not a bearing wall,
Yeah.
2x4, and he may have felt that 2x6 was give us better insulation, but for sound, but we don't need it.
Yeah, because there is, like John said, there is quite a bit of time involved in that.
Yeah.
We don't want the wall slapped up, for sure.
I can't go by a piece of paper like that. I thought you were reading off of a
No.
exact same thing, but without a real thing saying, so that it's absolutely certain what we're getting done.
It's a little bit clearer.
This one
Yeah.
person, 2x4s.
Yeah, got
Oh,
it.
no, I'm talking about sheetrock, what's thickness of sheetrock, in the plastering, I mean, the taping and jointing,
Mudding?
and the,
Okay.
What's the plumber thing here?
and then, I
Oh,
don't
Are we only doing
All right,
one
so
plumber?
you,
No, we're gonna get another plumber.
Who else you think?
I don't know, try a little bit.
this is the plumber for the,
For faucets and for your hot
we
water
need to
heater.
replace the hot water heater in Riverfront Park. Right now, there's no hot water in Riverfront Park
There's another.
because the bottom of the tank rusted out. It wasn't suspended off the floor as it should have been for air movement.
and no pan.
So it was concrete to,
Wayne Roberson,
metal.
an electrician.
it rotted out. It should have lasted longer. The park commissioners wanted a price on an electric tankless. I don't think there's a savings there, but they wanted a price on it, so we'll get it. I've got a list of at least 4, and I can give it better due diligence tomorrow and see if I can get
For tankers?
for both the tankless and the 20-gallon.
How,
I think-
electric
Yeah,
tankless?
I think that there would be a better savings if we put a gray box on a 20-gallon traditional hot water heater than if we put in an electric tankless.
I can get a price.
Can we,
I did.
one
I know what they
suggestion.
cost.
I know how you could get 2 prices in 2 days.
You get a
Call
plumber?
Lowe's and call,
I already have
Home
a
Depot.
price for the cost of the,
No, but they do installation. They set up the whole thing.
they do
workers.
plumbing?
Yeah.
So they subcontract out to
Yeah,
local
they-
plumbers?
yeah,
They take care of it all, because they have set rates for it.
I know what they cost.
Yeah, but how do you discount?
They have a set
Yeah,
rate
my son does.
that they pay them.
All right, I'm gonna call
thank you.
this contractor tomorrow and see what the difference is. If it's, comes in less, just go ahead and award it and have them start.
For that, for this? How does everybody feel about that? Did everybody hear what Joyce said?
It comes in less than what?
With the 2x4.
With the 2x4, if he revises that, the price is lowered by, I don't know how many board feet. Do we want to go with the one bid we have?
Are you gonna set it not to exceed then? Or how do
It's
you?
gonna probably lower it by
A little-
$400 or $500 at
Is
least.
the reason we can't wait a week?
Wait a week for,
This? Are we in that much of a hurry? We haven't even hired a person.
You get hold of him tomorrow, he works over the weekend on a bid, whatever, gets back beginning of the week, it's only a few days.
oh, you're talking about this, the other bid? Get it
The
written?
wall. The wall.
All right, I'm confused. Start again. The other one. What other one?
So get revised bids on both of them.
Get
Right,
revised bids on both
For
of
next
them.
week.
Right.
For next week.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to get a written one, a written revised one on the other one.
You know, I think the one that we got on the paper, Peter's right. The way it came about was innocent, but it's not fair. And John's made some points, there's some liability issues, does he have
Is it-
insurance?
Yeah,
No,
it's
this would
insurance.
be included in his wage, just as an employee, paid as an employee,
Yeah, so that doesn't, yeah.
similar to what you
It's
had
very awkward.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's just sort of like what they would be doing. I think that I think that we should go back to that other person and get a 2x4 construction rather than 2x6 construction. Get us a price, send us the price for that 2x4 construction, and then let's just go with that and get it done.
I'm
Period.
okay with that.
Yeah, that's what I was suggesting. That's what I thought you wanted me to do.
One of the things about 2x4 versus 2x6, if you're having a wall that high, 2x4, it's gonna flex.
You're worried about racking?
It's
Yep.
good, well, racking is easy because you can put the
Maybe that's why you
braces in.
did 2x6.
But if it's attached here and here, people push up against it.
Oh.
There's strength,
And
you
there will
know,
be.
somebody leans against it, it
And
could
there will be.
snap, or push a cabinet against it, so
Well,
there
with the
might be a
2x6 construction, if you ever wanted to put a TV up there or hang something up there for projection or anything like that, you really would probably want the 2x6. Let's just go
That could
with
be
it.
the reason.
Let's just go with
That's
it.
a pretty tall wall.
Do it.
Make a motion to go with the bid to repair the wall with the 2x6 construction for, I don't have it in front of me,
Second.
Belanger.
Landers.
Belanger and Sons.
Yeah.
And we have a second over there.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table?
Aye.
Aye. Peter?
And this was seconded by Ashley?
Yes.
Okay, would you let them know to please
Get it done.
Call him tonight.
Get her
It's
done.
not too late.
make sure he understands it's painted on both sides, finished on both sides?
And we're not gonna throw that plastic out, right?
No, you can take it, we'll give it to you.
All right, I'll take it.
I'll take it. I'm gonna be making a greenhouse one of these years, huh?
Seriously, don't throw the plastic out, because one of us will take it. If the garage
Okay.
doesn't need it, somebody will
Okay,
take it.
Just keep around.
I just
It
wanted
is.
to bring to your attention
And the
that,
PVC.
you said the blue file, we've been keeping all of Cindy's updates. This is the most recent
Yeah,
update.
we got it.
We got
Yeah,
it.
got it.
okay.
It's in our,
And last but not least, the New Hampshire DES has closed out our Lust file for the Ernies. We're all set there. So what remains is the site for the arsenic is still contaminated, and they will be sending us some comments. They'll be sending us a letter on any future requirements for the investigation and remediation of the hazardous waste part of it.
So she's just gonna continue testing the wells.
And
Isn't that on
and it's
the,
pointless because it's arsenic, and we know that contamination is not from the petroleum. Okay?
it can occur naturally. in
It
her-
occurs naturally, and
But
that's what I
she,
said to her. So-
Isn't that available on the DES, what is it, One Step?
Yeah.
That site, our site should be on that One Step, so you can look at the previous tests. Hopefully they're falling off,
Yeah, because based on
the
the,
disturbing of the soils, but,
I'm trying to pull up a link.
yeah, the thing about asbestos is it doesn't move through the soils like,
No, it's
I mean,
arsenic.
arsenic.
based on this information,
It
the
is
hazardous
asbestos.
waste project will be opened for continued corrective actions related to the dissolved arsenic.
All
So,
right,
so that's good. So that's another thing that's done. And I did print another one of these of the CDBG grant, so if Catherine, if you could just sign this. This is before it had two, and you know how state agencies are, when things don't line
I
up
appreciate
just
you
right,
putting your
they,
signature in there, just want you to know,
I want to be on the hook right there.
thank you.
I just want you to know that everybody worked really hard this week. Everybody was just clicking and humming.
Okay,
Thank you.
so, we getting any closer to getting these letters written to, letters still pending?
Peter Salibas is done.
What about the others?
Mr. Hill, no, not Mr. Hill, Hill Street.
I know we meant Caleb Hill Road.
No, Caleb Hill, no.
Crop seeding and parking at Riverfront Park. Okay, because we really need to get that resolved for him so he can move on.
Right, the way that was left was the planning board said they weren't going to remove that condition, correct?
It's kind of hanging there. I think we need to send them an official letter letting them know that, I don't know.
See,
I'll have a
conversation
conversation.
out there. I'll go look. and see,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll have a conversation, try to remember to have a conversation
Yep.
with him, Peter, you and I. Next to the 13th, is that when we're meeting? Because he needs to be able to move on. What is he gonna do next?
Yep.
Dari sent us a list of the Tilton Housing Authority committee people.
Yep.
Have you contacted any of them to let them know if they'd be willing to serve?
No, I haven't.
Talked to two.
So you have tenant, landlord, realtor.
I have talked to
You have
two.
talked to two.
I've talked to Nancy Trousdale. I happened to see her in the grocery store. She said she'd be willing to serve if asked. And Marion Abbott, which I was asked to contact,
Marion Abbott's a tenant.
and she said she would.
Is Nancy Trousdale a landlord?
Yes.
Because it says member at large.
She's a landlord, but not in Tilton. She's a landlord.
Doesn't matter.
She's a landlord.
So does anybody have any objections to these two people who said they would serve?
No.
No?
No, neither do I.
Excellent job before.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Showed up.
Would you contact them, Pat?
Yep. I will.
Then they can fill out a member form, and then we can go through the approval process. Does that sound like the way to go? Okay. So that's the housing standard. What about the tree streets and the parking situation? Where do we want to go? Right now, we have an offer from Pernod, right? And that's just hanging.
Yep, and he hasn't contacted us.
Well, if we do it, we're gonna wanna do it while school's in session.
We better hurry up.
So that would be like next week.
WRTA agreement.
It's on my list.
I would say let's go ahead and do the
They did go out and fix the fence.
tree streets. Let's go ahead and do turn off of the tree streets, but let's do it in the fall.
Why are we even thinking about having this, paying the money to have this study done when all these people can park in their driveways? And I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but the fact is, they all have driveways except one property.
Where are you talking? On Chestnut Street?
Yes,
Well, what about the High Street and what about,
they all have parking. They all have driveways. I haven't found one without driveways except the one on Chestnut. It's one on the corner.
Yeah, but what if they have more than one car to fit in their driveway?
We don't want to do the shuffle. Might be a one-lane
It's supposed to be
driveway and
them.
there's two people.
Most of those driveways fit 2 cars. Heck, there's driveways down there that'll fit 10 cars.
I think the boys just used to pulling up parking out the
We're
curb.
still in meeting.
I think they're
Can I
just
give you a
used
call
to
when I
parking
get
at
out?
the curb and
I think so too. The driveways are empty. The driveways are empty. If you drive up these streets, you look,
Okay.
there's the cars parked there.
Closer.
And instead of driving down there, because a lot of them will have to walk back up onto the sidewalk to go into the house, they're parked on the street because it's quicker.
Now, most of them are parked on the sidewalk.
Parked on the sidewalk, thank you. So,
Isn't that an
and
ADA issue?
even if they have company, I mean, you can't, you're gonna tell anyone there that they can't have company over for
we should
Sunday
not
afternoon
be
dinner?
one-waying our street, spending thousands of dollars on studies because people want to have parties and company. You know, you can make arrangements with the church, which is right there. You can make arrangements with neighbors for overflow if you're gonna have a party. They can have people park at the public parking at the old post office and shuttle people back and forth. They wanna have a party. But it's ridiculous to me that
You
we're
just wanna
spending.
go ahead and make a decision and say, just make
What
Chestnut Street a
decision
one-way
to make?
district?
I don't wanna
one-way
make any of them one-way streets. I want people to stop parking on the sidewalk and park in their driveways. It's just that simple. Look, all of you should go during the day and during the evening when work is out and take a look at what I'm talking about. And then let's come back together and talk about it.
I live there, so I
We've
know
been
what you're
doing this
talking
for a
about.
couple of years.
I
but-
walk my dogs daily.
Yes, but the rest of us don't. So if everybody could just take a look
I
at these
drive it
homes.
about 190 days a year.
Please take a note if you find another house besides the one in Chestnut without a driveway. All right, moving right along. You're gonna get me the WRTA signed agreement because we need to form that committee.
Yep.
you're gonna get the letters written.
Yep.
Do we need to talk about the vehicle maintenance agreement? We got a copy of the vehicle maintenance agreement, and it's very specific. I remember when we created it, it was Tom Kavanaugh who came up with the idea to have Public Works mechanic work on these vehicles. And it is a selectman's ordinance. It's not a Public Works ordinance. It is a selectman's ordinance. We created it. We gave the Public Works Director the direction to create it. So my question is, it seems to contradict our last letter that went out that pertained to vehicle maintenance.
In what way?
Well, we specifically indicated that Officer Morrison,
Yeah, but the other one was a policy, and the policy you adopted referenced the town's ordinance.
I'm talking about the first one that was created in what, 2004?
Yeah.
We created that. That's the first one. That's when we
Right.
started having Public Works maintain the police vehicles. And that was what we came up with, ordinance, policy, whatever. But that's what the selectmen dictated would take place.
Is there a copy of
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in our,
the mailbox?
Tim said I'd love this. I really hate these little things. I
Yeah,
do.
what happened to your little thing you used
It
to
doesn't work on
go
these.
tapping on all the time? But what was so different?
It specifically designated Officer Morrison as the person that would coordinate, work with, and get her done.
Is that the one that we got a copy of that?
It says one police department employee to schedule all maintenance, determine all changes or preventative maintenance service mileage, establish day or week for PM services, plus take into effect snow days. PM services consist of change of oil filter, grease complete, check transmission and rear fluids,
It doesn't specifically,
check air pressure on all tires, check gas
May
filter.
25th, John.
May 25th.
does it
Oh, I
specifically?
see, this has a police officer?
Oh, I know, I hate that though. I get everything else too.
Replace, and it just says replace, replace, replace. And then it says, who will schedule major repair that has to be done on,
I
at
see
the
what you're
private
saying.
sector.
Yeah.
Highway would like each vehicle to be properly numbered. Need copies of all vehicle warranty and registrations. Maintenance on motorcycles should be done at dealership. When performing major PM repairs on vehicles, vehicle must be at garage by 7:30 a.m. These are all things that are no longer exist.
But
Except that policy stays in effect. I thought,
But
what did I read, that it was specific to Nate? Oh, must have been something in my
This isn't
files.
specific to the police department, this is specific to the Public Works Department and their policy in maintaining vehicles.
This is not their policy. This is
It's
a policy
direct-
the selectmen asked to be created, reviewed, and accepted.
What's the first line on the whole page?
Tilton Public Works Department Maintenance Policy.
And that's what we asked.
On
The
police vehicles.
selectmen asked to be created. If you look at the last page, you will see adopted by the selectmen. I know that's
Yeah,
there.
I'm not
We
arguing
asked,
that.
we reviewed it, it's
But how
our
does this
policy.
contradict?
Well, this is, I was looking through my file of old documents, so it must be in there that I read that. Maybe it came later. But this is definitely the first one.
So what are you looking to get out of this?
I just didn't want it to conflict with this, where we said that,
Well, let's get it
police.
for a future meeting to look and review.
This is what we're doing though. One police department employee schedules all the maintenance.
well, we have time to, Peter's right, in the view of time, we have time to review this, make sure it's what we're doing now, and bring it forward to
Tweak
2017.
it as
Right.
appropriate.
Right, but right now, the preventive maintenance is being done at the highway garage.
Right, but,
That's-
so for example,
No,
we
this
need,
does not say for the police department to do preventative maintenance.
that's okay.
It says for the public works to.
We need to look at that document and bring it into today's world. So come back with suggested changes and whatnot. Okay, selectmen's reports.
I'll start. I got
He jumped right
I
up.
just want to get
Go
done
for
with.
it, yeah.
The only thing I have is that they want to put up some signs for the concerts. And I got contacted by Allison and asking about that. So I think Pat knows a little more about it too.
Same
because
location?
Same
No,
thing?
they took the poles down when they redid the railroad track.
The railroad track,
So they're kind of,
in the, the 2 poles that they put their banner up?
Yeah.
They want to put the poles back up and put the banner back up, but the railroad company, because they needed to get their track, the loaders and machinery in there, they took them down.
oh, here's the message. I wonder if you can hear it.
If they want to put those poles up, they're going to have to contact New Hampshire Bureau of Rail and Trails and get their permission, because that is their corridor.
They want to put sign.
Here's the question, Chad.
I have a few questions for you, having to do with the island and the concert series and where we can hang a sign. I'm hoping to get it in Salmon Run, since the railroad company took down our big telephone poles that have been there for 25 years. Sorry to bother you with this, but I'd like to know, because we're getting ready to start getting those signs up and things done. My number is 407.
Okay.
So they're trying to find alternatives, so they're asking either Salmon Run or along the where we put up the signs for the,
Along the fence?
the fence,
If they're going to put anything on Salmon Run, they'll have to contact the Conservation
which
Commission.
is why they called you. But they also, we okay with giving them permission along the
The black wrought iron fence?
black wrought iron fence?
Sure. You're talking right there at the island, yeah.
Ashley, any objections to that?
Maybe we could get a good rap done on the porta potty.
That's pretty funny.
It's a
I have
big
no
banner.
objections as long as they are clear that the Conservation Commission has to be consulted before anything goes up on Salmon Run. I'm okay with the fence. Enough people put stuff up on the fence. Anything else, John?
That's good enough for me. Well, I guess Gil contacted about the river where they had the thing, and they're gonna put signs at the ramp as well as in the water, so that people don't go off like a drop in
Thank
the
you.
waterfall.
Thank you, Gail.
Excellent, thank you.
Nice job. Pat?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
I-
sorry. Was that it? Pat?
I do have, I'll make it really brief, but there's one thing that's really outstanding. I won't go into a lot of the things. Are we gonna talk about the details or later?
I was going to bring it up.
Okay. I want to talk about
That's
fireworks. Last week, I don't know what day was it, Thursday or Friday? Fireworks, Friday evening, Friday, on Cedar Street, in a very, very small parcel of land with 40 or 50 feet high trees surrounding this parcel of land. They had fireworks going on, and the fireworks were landing on houses on Poplar Street, Cedar Street, and almost coming over to my garage, my barn. It came onto my land, so it had to pass 2 houses to get there, and a lot of houses on Cedar. So I called the fire department and I said, I mean, they're just the fireworks are bouncing off the roofs of the cars as well. And you could tell that they're all having a real good time, and they've had much more to drink than they probably should have. But the answer I got from the fire department was, well, you selectmen don't have an ordinance. And I said, well, what does an ordinance have to do with fire safety? It really was a fire safety issue. So They eventually came out and spoke with them, and then we didn't have any fireworks after that. But this has been an ongoing thing. I'm not opposed to fireworks. I never have been opposed to fireworks, but I am opposed to fireworks during this time of year when you drive down Chestnut Street and they're bouncing off your vehicle, or you're in your backyard with your dog and you have to bring them inside because they're going to land on you. It's in the village district. The houses are so close together. Your vehicles are parked very close together, and it's not safe. The trees are 40, 50 feet high in that area. This little postage stamp of a lawn that these people were sending fireworks off were a quarter of this room. A quarter of this room. That is so unsafe. It's not even for one fireworks to set it off. Never mind 100 of them going off. So I really, really, really absolutely hope that somewhere along the line the Board of Selectmen will do something about this, because it's not fair to the people that live in the village where the houses are so close. And there should be a time and a place for these fireworks to go off. It's not, I shouldn't have to worry every time somebody wants to be silly and unsafe. I have a 150-year-old home. It bounces off my house, it's going to go up in flames. And then I'm really going to come to the Board of Selectmen.
Before you go on to something else, this has come up
Every year.
I can't tell you how many times since I've been a
years.
selectman. I mean, it's just been, and before that, I mean, it's always been an issue within these densely populated areas, not just this area, but it's come up in Lockmere, Winnisquam, any place where this house is close together. I found a fireworks ordinance for the town of Newbury. My suggestion is that everybody read it and look at it. It talks about distances from property and boundaries,
You're
et
gonna
cetera, et
share it
cetera.
with us?
Yeah, I can send it to you. But there are, let's see, forward, right? There are others out there.
Guilford always has good ordinances.
Guilford?
Well, some of them, I've noticed, are very restrictive in that just no, just unless you fill out an application and you're a licensed fireworks person, forget it. You're done. You're not doing anything. This one isn't that restrictive. But there are others out there. when Pat called me, so I sent it out, I think.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I just happened to come across this one and thought this is a good template. It doesn't completely restrict fireworks. I mean, there's people across from me, down across the lake in Belmont, that send them up, and they come up over the lake. There's people down in Ashlot that do the same thing. They send them up over the lake. I don't know how DES feels about that, but anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pat.
No, I don't want to restrict fireworks. I would like them to be set off in a really safe environment.
Do you have anything else for us?
No, I'm
Ashley?
gonna hold it.
Peter?
Nah.
All right. Next. So everybody knows our little shrubbery tree out there did not survive the winter. We do have a credit with them to get another one when they have them in. In the meantime, Bob and I did some plantings in the park, and I had a conversation with him. And he has suggested and found a replacement. It's not a rut dogwood. It's a pink princess crabapple. This tree only matures to 10 feet tall. It can spread as much as 15 feet wide, but is easily controlled. It has pale rose blossoms, followed by small, dark red crabapples that mature in the fall and provide showy winter interest. Birds are attracted to the fruit. Oval green leaves are tinged with maroon. Fall color is often quite attractive. It's zoned for Zone 4. it's not as expensive as I had expected. It's, if we pick it up, it's $300.
Aren't we gonna get two of them? One to replace.
Well, we can. They want 2 days' notice, so if when Public Works goes down to pick it up, they need to bring tarps to cover the foliage, because it's a tree, it's not a shrubbery. My suggestion is, we have the credit with Spring Hill for that dogwood, that we continue to get that, and perhaps Conservation Commission would let us plant it on Salmon Run someplace,
Somewhere.
because that's probably more sheltered. Might stand a better chance, even though Spring Hill guarantees it for our climate.
Right. And that's,
Others are saying that
when did they say those would be available? We'd have to wait until the Spring Hill in the
fall.
But this one is available.
This is
now.
available now. It's at Brochu in Concord.
Okay.
I know that, I think it was the person at the Cupcake Place complained adamantly about why we put trees that had debris on them that got tracked inside her store in the town. You remember that? I love crab apple trees. I think they're beautiful.
Those
The
are
berries don't
flowering
seem-
pears.
They don't seem to bother me, but eventually we would end up with some crab apples that would fall and
Well-
get stepped on or whatever.
Funny you should bring that up. I specifically asked Bob for a tree that doesn't do that. I said, we don't want garbage on the sidewalk. This, as it says here, the fruits will mature in the fall and then the birds eat them. They don't typically, for this tree, as I was told, don't fall off the tree.
The apples don't?
These little crab apples.
It's gravity.
On this,
Do
they're,
pigeons eat them? Because what other birds do we have downtown that are gonna eat them?
Oh,
Cedar waxwings,
oh, we have a
Okay.
lot of birds.
a lot of them.
They
I've seen 'em.
come out
My
here.
brother's got a couple of these
I
in
have
Manchester that they
some,
don't,
and
they don't
they,
fall on the ground.
Who would be going to pick them up?
I mean, you can't
Public
say.
Works.
Okay. Could Bob go down there and meet with them, or can Public Works do some studying up on the trees before they pick them up? Because it's very essential that you buy a tree with proper branch locations before you get it.
We can have Bob go down there and
Pick it
pick
out.
them
Choose
out,
them, right.
tag
Because
them.
we're very specific, where the sidewalk is and the buildings. And you can
You're just talking about one tree.
Well, if we want to get 2 trees, that's fine. But
Where can we put the other one? 'Cause
I don't know. Why did we want 2 trees?
Because
To replace the one that was wrecked.
Oh, that's right. We could move it, because aren't there 2 spots down there?
Now, are you gonna wanna slide that one a little further away from your crosswalk area?
Yes, we have to. We already talked about that.
Okay.
Has to,
Where it's a shorter tree.
yeah. 2 trees.
All right, so is
Get it done.
everybody all right with that?
Yep.
I'll call up Bob. Do you want the trees? All right,
Not that far.
let Brock know. He has to let Brochu know. Give him at least a couple days. And they'll get the trees ready, and then they'll have to pick them up. They can't.
But not till after the sidewalk's done, right?
Pardon?
Not till after the sidewalk's done?
No, we can pick them up now. We have the holes. We have holes to put them in.
Right.
And they'll
We have
work
to
around
remove
it.
our one hole.
Well, he can cut the hole. Isn't gonna matter. He can fill it with, the other one's there, it's with mulch, so he's gonna cut a new hole for this one.
Yeah. Just cuts
No
it.
big deal.
We can just cut a new hole for it.
Yeah, just saw
Oh,
cuts
okay.
it.
We're
Just
not gonna
saw-
put it back in the same hole.
Mm-mm.
No, we know water lines are down there, we shouldn't be doing that. And he should call dig safe. The other thing, and I'll save the other stuff for next week.
But would you have to call dig safe just to replace a tree in a hole?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Digging a
Anytime you
hole, he's gotta call dig safe.
touch that ground.
Digging a hole.
Supposed to do it in your property too.
I did it for my patio.
He definitely needs to call dig safe. With all the stuff that runs up and down this road and the sidewalk, before he digs
Tell
that
him I want a
hole.
rototill
Because
in
remember,
the yard
this
this
is a
week.
tree.
Yeah.
This is gonna have a root ball.
Ask them
What are
to.
we gonna do
He's-
about the planter between Tilton House Pizza? With flowers.
I say run stelladoras down the center and use annuals for color. Stelladoros will blossom, and they're not, daylilies look great, but their blossom is short-lived. Stelladoros will last a little longer.
Right.
It's attractive foliage, they're a little smaller, not quite as invasive.
And what kind of annuals?
They can change by the year.
Why do we use just the color?
For color, because there isn't, unless you go out there and plant a whole variety of perennials, the color, so this one's going to blossom in the spring, this one will be June, this will be fall. You're not going to have a continuing color. But Stelladoros with their leaves are attractive just as green foliage.
So I just put in some variegated
How tall
hosta or
the star?
something.
Those are Stelladoros in the trough
Yeah.
around the monument. They get about like
A little
this,
shorter than your tiger lilies, Jim.
like this. So if you intersperse it with annuals, you'll have continuous color
So
because
you're
those
gonna need
annuals
smaller.
blossom until they get killed by the frost.
So when he
Put
goes
some
down,
variegated hosta or something in there.
Well, even hosta is just foliage. I'm
Yeah,
saying if you
just
want
foliage.
color.
Yeah.
Most people like to have color.
Well, you
I
get the
think you should have
variegated
color.
hostas, you get some decent color with the yellow-green leaves.
I would just put greenery in there, not
yeah, I
have,
would do greenery.
not
This
go
is-
through the thing of annuals unless you're gonna do it.
Oh, I don't mind doing it. It only takes a second. I did that one, and then I had help on this
Come to my
one.
house.
Pardon?
Come to my house.
I'll help you do it.
You will?
I get tons of giant zinnia seeds.
Do they sell
There you
Stelladoros?
go.
I'll put them in for
Let's
free.
put zinnias. Yeah, John's got
Free this year,
zinnias.
fly all
Let's
the
get some
seeds.
Stelladoros.
I'll do it with you guys.
Okay, so you got a planting
All right,
crew.
we're gonna get
Where
this
were you guys
Stelladoros.
last weekend?
Working.
Where?
Yeah, where do you get
Lowe's, Home Depot, and...
Lowe's, they'll help us out.
I don't know,
Great deal.
they won't have
But
Stelladoros.
they'll help.
Sure,
Pretty sure.
they do perennials.
I've never seen, well, they might have,
I think
take
they
it
do.
back, they're becoming more popular. They may have Stelladoros.
They,
call it up on there and show me what it looks like?
They're right out there,
Right out there.
in the trough, up against the wall, and up,
But they're
so,
not blossoming yet.
oh, they haven't blossomed. They
So
look
you
like a
can-
daylily. The blossom comes out.
yeah?
There's yellow, around the monument, there's 3 different colors. There's a purple, there's a yellow, and I forgot what that third color is. Stelladora lilies.
Okay, so what else?
Okay.
Oh. Is it purple?
Yeah, I have 3 colors, like I said, around this monument. I can't think of the third. Is it orange?
How long do they last?
Oh, forever, and they multiply.
No, I mean for,
Oh, the blossom?
Well, this doesn't,
Yeah, it's
I
on the-
would say about
Yeah.
2 months, maybe a month. So
that will give enough time for the other stuff to grow in.
yeah. But if you're going to do hostas, the hostas is going to overwhelm the Stelladoros, so I would do one or the other. Hosta flowers are nasty.
We have Stelladoros around my parents' grave. They bloom a long time.
oh, 5-pack only $6.99.
Was that Lowe's?
I don't know if I've got it, if these have grown enough, I can look at them to see if we can actually split and, I mean, maybe that's the thing to do in the fall, is we'll divide that. We'll put some in for now, and then we can divide these up
I have some flags we can split.
to fill it out, do you?
Blue, yeah.
Anyway, all right, moving on from that. So, everybody who signed the payroll, did you see my little yellow sticky in here?
Yeah.
This has been bothering me for a while. Now that we have details of the police officers, it's even more rampant. So 13.75 hours of patrol time was sacrificed for detail work. And I put little stickers on all of those who did that. We did have a couple officers that took paid time off, but that's okay, and they went through the proper process. But I don't think the 312s and the 4 are working, because this happens over and over and over again. That 4-hour shift is sacrificed for either detail work or time off.
But if it gets them to use their time,
But that comp time is supposed to be managed by the chief anyway, so it doesn't get out of hand.
Right.
I'm just saying, we didn't give them 3/12s and a 4 so they could take the 4 off and go someplace else and make more money. I mean, theoretically, we need 40 hours of patrol time from these officers each week.
but what's paid time off? It's paid time off to do whatever. If they earned
Okay,
it,
but that's not my point I'm making. The 4-hour shift is real easy to take paid time off for whatever. It's just really bothering me this week that it's even easier because they now can go out and work for somebody else and make more money, and we don't have the patrol time. We don't have the coverage.
It's not being covered.
so if we were running 4 10s and they take a 10 off and we don't have people covered, now you're losing 10 hours.
They're more apt to cover a 10 than they would be a 4-hour.
That's
Has there
probably,
been a problem with coverage?
Yes.
Yes.
But I mean,
If you look at the schedule and study it, you'll see the holes. So here's the schedule that was prepared, 3 months in advance?
Yes.
And here we are in this week, and it doesn't look like what was prepared because it's down.
And shuffled around because of details or training or something like that. And more often, there's at least a half a dozen or better people this week that have taken paid time off to work a detail.
but it's their paid time off. I
But
guess
the shift's
don't
not being
understand.
covered, so.
Okay.
In other words, if you need, we just went through this in January. We hired, an officer left, and we said, do we replace that officer or do we not replace that officer? And everyone said, we need to replace that officer because we need that coverage during this time, this time, this time, this time. And we don't have that because we'll have a gap. So by working 3/12s and 4, it's very easy to call up and say, I'm not going to come in today, or I'm going to do this today, whatever, and not take that 4 hour. And it's even easier for them not to cover that 4 and do without that 4. Well, if you take 7 or 8 or 9 that did it just this week alone, now you have a 40-hour week that you didn't have, 40 hours that you didn't have the coverage that you should have had as an officer.
So what I'm saying
It adds
is,
up.
are you finding that you need coverage during that time that people aren't doing their 4s?
It's during the day.
And have you needed an officer and you're like, oh, well,
So, yeah, right now, we're seeing between 52 and 55 details a week. It's 52 details is 416 hours. We only have 8 people in patrol to try and cover all of those details, so we're farming some of them out, but they're approving the 4-hour PTOs, to help cover the details, but also trying to make sure we have enough people around so that we're not shorthanded, so it is during the day. It's kind of an anomaly right now that we have so many details. We typically don't have this many, but Pike's requesting 18 to 20 details per week right now until they finish this Route 3 and 11 project. Once they finish up, we'll still have details, but it'll slow down quite a bit.
so are you guys shorthanded during these hours?
Right now, we're just trying to keep up with the huge amount of details coming in. I could fill those 4s if we felt like we were going to be really short.
So you don't necessarily need somebody for the 4s. You guys are making it work.
I mean, for these couple weeks that it's so bad, we're all pitching in, but I don't see it staying like this.
But you're saying
What
it's
you gonna do
consistent,
bike week if they're
Catherine?
still
Well,
paying
my
out
problem
there?
is,
Yeah.
my specific problem is, we've been trying to get officers to patrol downtown, to do the parking, to work for the town of Tilton. And it really disturbs me when our officers take 4 hours of time that's supposed to be working for the town of Tilton and take it off to work for a contractor where they can make more money. And that's what's happening. That's my problem.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think, and I'm listening to you, and the priority seems to cover the contractor's details when other departments could do that, rather than, let's take care of patrolling Tilton. Let's take care of downtown where they've got drug deals right in front of the Episcopal Church on the bench. And that's still taking place.
yeah, I mean,
Let's take care of the parking issue, which, nobody's doing. Let's take care of the town of Tilton rather than going to work for a contractor that's going to pay me $40 an hour. Is it up to 42 yet?
no, it's for, they're,
That's my problem.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
43 July 1st.
they're-
So, and you just came in and said, we have to have coverage.
yeah.
Well, nobody said we have to have coverage to work details. My understanding is the town of Tilton needed patrol officers to patrol our streets and take care of the needs of the town of Tilton. That's my problem, and it really disturbs me, as you can see.
Yeah, no,
I
know.
don't think the 312s and the 4 are working. I think Pat is right. I think if we had like 4 10s, an officer's going to think twice of taking maybe that 10-hour shift off, or at least the person who's supposed to be managing the schedule is going to say, look, you can't take a 10-hour shift off, work a detail, and then I've got to pay somebody overtime to take your 10-hour shift. That isn't taking place.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's 8s or 10s or 12s, they're gonna have to use PTO to, if they wanna work details, they'll have to use it.
But you and I both know it's going to be a lot more difficult on 4 10s than to take it. We've worked with this 3 12s and a 4 for 2 years. We've had these same issues come all the time. We've sat down with the officers and said, you promised us that this wouldn't happen, and it happens over and over and over again. And not only does that happen, but out of the 6 or 8 that put it in for it, the captain had to fill out the paid time off sheets for them. They didn't even put in the paid time off sheets. The captain had to do that. So I think that we've done 2 years of the, accommodating the police officers and asking them, they've asked us to accommodate them in doing 3 12s and a 4. We've accommodated them for about 2 years now. I think that they should accommodate us and try the 4 10s and see if that works.
I disagree with that. If they like their schedule how it is, I think if it's working, if we're not shorthanded.
But it is not working.
It's not
But
working.
I understand you're saying nobody's covering those 4s, but I'm talking about the actually out there, are we shorthanded, or do we need somebody consistently for these 4s when people are taking PTO? But
Then
the
we
other
shouldn't
piece
have
of it is-
hired an extra person. Yeah.
So-
We're giving out, if
So
we're
what are
giving
we upset
10
about?
hours,
That's what I'm saying.
if we're giving out 10 guys 4 hours a week, that's one job. One employee we didn't need, which would save the taxpayers $85,000 plus retirement, because we're not using that. And when we have, the problem is, like Catherine said, we have complaints about the parking, or speeding, and and all those things. Number one duty of the selectmen, as well as the police officers, is to serve the townspeople first. The details is a separate contracting job. It's their own business, essentially. Has
But we
nothing
can't
to do
tell
with it.
them, that's what I mean, we can't say you can't do a detail. I mean, they're gonna take the
Well,
PTO
we
and
can.
do whatever they want.
Yes, we
with their
can.
time.
We can tell them. We tell them that they have to
But that
work
would be,
40.
we'd have to deny PTO, not, you can take it, but you can't do this with your time.
But as I said, the person who's doing the schedule should be managing that paid time off.
Right, and that's who we
We
should focus on.
we shouldn't be having off, but this is all of a problem. We can't eliminate the fact that the 12 and the 4 is not working. It isn't working. It hasn't been working. It just isn't, because this is consistent. It happens all the time, whether there's details or not. The 4 hours is just easy to, PTO, I'm taking the 4 hours off. And John is right.
We'll squeak
I mean,
by.
we really didn't need that one more employee if it's okay for them to use PTO to shorten their shifts. Because obviously we don't need the coverage, and if you're saying we're not shorthanded, then we've got one too many officers. And it's the town of Tilton that's suffering. I mean, the contractors are suffering too because they gotta pay out the money, but our officers certainly aren't. But it's not to the benefit of the town of Tilton.
And our first thing is to the
So
townspeople.
who's gonna cover the 10-hour, if it's 4 10s, who's gonna cover that?
The officers. Instead of 3 12s and a 4, they'll have 4 10s.
They'll have 4 10s, the 40 hours.
Right, and if
It's still
somebody
40
wants to
hours.
take their time off, who's gonna cover that 10?
They'll,
So that-
they'll call in some,
Yeah, so somebody
they
would
should.
be paid overtime, is that right?
And I think it'll be done a little bit more.
It's got to be managed by the scheduler.
Right.
Who's the scheduler?
Well, right now, the schedule is a corporal, but the scheduler, in my opinion, should not, if you're in the schedule, you should not be doing the schedule.
Well, that's a good point.
That's,
Why?
because
A
it
little
should be.
self-serving.
Right.
You can
We
look, if you look at,
self-schedule in nursing.
well, if you look at the schedule, there's kind of like, kind of picks the best dates.
I suggest that you go back and you look at weeks previous to this one, and you'll see the same pattern. You can go back as
No,
far
I
as you want.
believe that it's
You will
happening,
see the
but
same
I feel
pattern.
like job satisfaction, that's a high-stress job. To take 4 hours seems easier than,
I couldn't agree with you more, but however,
All right.
you're not privy to, you're not privy to the last 2 or 3 years that we've dealt with this same issue over and over and over again, and it's not working. We've done everything possible to sit before us, and we've had them also,
We will
we've
not
had this
let it
room
happen.
filled with officers explaining, you know, this is what we need to have happen. Yes, okay, it
We
will
won't
happen,
do
and it
that.
doesn't happen. So we've gone over these issues. Chief, have we not had this room filled with the same concerns? I mean,
And the reason they wanted to go to the 12s and the 4s is to have more time with their family. I completely understand that. But that's not what's happening. They're taking the 4 hours and they're turning them into 8 and 10 and 12-hour shifts. So it's nothing to do with wanting to be home with the family. It is all to do with where can I make the most money? And it's not serving the town of Tilton.
I just think changing a schedule like that is pretty big.
We told them that this was something we would try.
we told them it was a trial.
It wasn't
Told them
as
it was-
much changing, we
Right.
changed the 40-hour, the
That's right.
regular schedule.
We went from 5/8.
To
We went
the
from 5/8 to
312,
that.
to the 312s and a 4, and the agreement is that this wouldn't happen. And then we brought it up, and they said, okay, we'll correct it, this will not happen again, we're going to straighten this out if you let us keep it. And whatever, it just starts happening again.
Yep.
You know,
I guess I
it's
would
like
just
not
think
our
that-
part of the, you know, we're willing to make schedules and accommodate people and give them a schedule that favors for their lifestyle and that. But they have to be responsible too to fulfill their schedule that we accommodated for them.
Look at it, study it, and look and see
it's-
what's been happening in the past. I mean, most of us have experienced it, know, but Ashley, you're new, so if you go back and look.
Well, it's not that, I'm sure it's happening, it could be happening a lot, but I'm trying to figure out, where are the facts that say during this 4-hour time block, that's when the drugs are being passed at the church or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. How do we
Well,
know that that's
I've been
what's
asking
happening?
for a gazillion years for them to regularly patrol downtown, because we do have issues like that. It's reported all the time. In fact, the merchants, if you go talk to them, they don't bother reporting it anymore. Falls on deaf ears.
Right.
We don't have anybody that will get out, we used to, and walk around and have a police presence in downtown Tilton. Doesn't take place. But yet they have time to get rid of patrol time that could be dedicated to that and go out and contract and do details for 8-10 hours a day because they're going to make more money. We're not going to be concerned about with safety. We're going to go make more money. I'm sorry, that's how I see it. You know, parking, for example. Nobody's paying attention to the parking. We're doing more parking up in Winnisquam. One-way streets. Don't block this. That's going to have to be patrolled by policemen.
But how does the schedule
So
affect that? Like,
There's
that's
nobody
not
there
gonna
to
solve
answer
that
the
Nobody
problem.
there to do it.
But is that gonna solve, just because they're taking off their fours, that's gonna solve that problem? Like if they
If they're not
were
taking
there on
off
their,
it,
but if they
they'll
were
be there.
So if they were,
to do
did
it.
their 4-hour shifts, you think that that would solve that problem?
I think that we have
We have
somebody
more of a
who's
chance for it to be
managing
solved,
this as we're supposed to have.
Right.
That's part of the problem. There's a lot of pieces to this problem. The 12, 12, 12, and 4 is a problem. We didn't have it before when we had the 8s.
Right.
Now, I know they don't want to go back to 8s because it's 5 days a week. So I'm thinking that the 4-10s is a better alternative. But we didn't have this problem until we had the 3 12s and a 4. It's too easy to take that paid time off for that 4 hours and turn it into, you know, a 10-hour day making $42 an hour.
I'll make a motion, we go to 4/10 starting September 2nd.
I'll second the motion for discussion, but
I don't think we should do anything without talking to the scheduler at least, or hearing what they have to say about it. I don't
I do agree with Ashley on that.
feel comfortable changing someone's schedule so drastically.
Doesn't mean I'm going to
They have
change my
some ideas
mind.
on how the problems.
They'll have ideas, they'll certainly have ideas.
I would say go back to the 410s unless we see something change.
Not go back to the 4/10s, we've never had 4/10s.
I'll go to the 410s.
We had 5/8s.
Yeah, let's go to 410s.
Let's
Peter,
go-
what do you think?
Go to the 410s and
I'm
unless
sorry.
something changes to a little bit more responsible.
I don't want to yo-yo this. I don't want to have this motion pass and then have them coming in next week and we change our minds.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we have a conversation with them, or the
Peter.
scheduler?
I think we-
What happens when I take my 10-hour shift off to go do a detail?
We can't tell them if they can do a detail, or if they can go sit at home, or they can.
We can tell them, we can take away the details.
Why,
First thing
though?
is if you
But-
take 10 hours, you use up 10 hours of your PTO. So you'll think twice in
Exactly.
going off your duties by your employer to go out and make extra money in a private business.
Why would anybody be punished for that? The scheduler should be
Not punished.
accountable for making sure that there's coverage
Good point.
7 days a week. That's it. If an officer wants to take time off, the scheduler's the one that's in charge of that. Well, no, because we have a hole that day, so unless you can find or make a switch or whatever,
That's
but
not taking place.
I guess, I don't know how this is gonna change that. They're still gonna take time off, and then what if it's not covered in a 10-hour shift?
The history and the pattern of this, as I said, and before we had the 3 12s and the 4, we didn't really have this problem.
You also didn't
That
have
was
the
the
quantity
agreement.
details.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
we did.
Yeah, we did.
Mhm.
We had a
This
summer,
this month, I think you've blown any month out of the water.
we had, I can sit here and tell you the
It was
projects we
sporadic.
had.
Mhm.
Liberty was
Liberty
laying lines
Village
again, we
years ago
had
used
the
to do that.
water district project, yeah, there was a lot of,
There's a lot of projects.
but no, there is a lot this year. But we've had years that were like this. So we have a motion on the table.
It's a safety thing too.
I agree with Ashley. I would like to have a conversation let them have an opportunity to come and talk to us. It's probably not gonna change my mind, but I'd still like to give them that opportunity. So,
I agree.
any more conversation? Those in favor, Joyce?
Just thinking maybe October 1st, because you really should have 3 full months to implement it.
Why?
Don't you think you should, aren't they supposed to?
Yeah, to say.
That's why she
Well,
said-
that's why I
now
did,
we're
that's why I set
totally
up,
changing your
that's why I
schedule.
said September
September
2nd.
1st.
So you have July,
I know, but by the time
June,
you
July.
notify them, and then they're gonna come in and talk to you, you're not getting your full 3 months.
Well, they got a month,
That's not fair.
but we haven't voted on the motion
I
yet.
don't know, just that's
you
all.
don't have to, no,
Yeah, but they
You're
do it,
incorrect in that.
by 3 months, 3 months out.
you don't notify them 3 months in advance.
No, I know, but they
Okay.
go by 3 months, so that's all.
And it's like,
That's
you know,
3
changing
months.
seasons and,
And then vote on it.
Tomorrow's June 2nd.
yeah,
Okay.
that's all. Just to give them a little more time to adjust.
Make arrangements.
Yeah, because you got childcare, you got,
Mm-hmm.
you know, school starts September.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's the-
Yep.
All right, the motion on the table is to go to 4/10, September 1st,
Second.
and it was seconded.
No, September 2nd.
September 2nd?
Yes.
September 2nd. All right. Do you want to consider rescinding your motion to give them an opportunity to speak to us, or do you want to go forward with the vote?
They're gonna come and speak to us, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
No, but why?
All those in favor of
You
the
know
motion
that.
on the table, I do.
You know that.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Uh,
No?
No.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought.
It was a
All
good
right.
exercise, though.
So, do we want to have a conversation with our police personnel
Yeah.
about this?
Well, next week it's coming up.
Yeah, we got plenty of time next week.
Give them time if they want to
All
look
right.
up.
So, Joyce, can you arrange that?
No, we should say
Yes,
the scheduler.
to come in and talk to the board and.
Yeah, I want patrol people, the scheduler, the sergeant, and
Don't
whoever
name
wants
who's
to
gonna
come.
be here, because they'll all be here, so I'm telling
That's
you.
good, as long as they all come. We haven't done our minutes. Do we want to just mark it draft and do it next week?
I ordered the pizza, so.
Go get it.
All right,
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Second.
All those in favor?
I'm sorry, I just lost that whole 5 seconds of conversation.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so minutes next week?
Yes.
Minutes next week.
Patrolmen and all the cops in here.
When they show up.
Well, they should have time to research and,
Research, they've
Well,
already done
yeah,
their
they
research.
can't just
No.
show up.
no, but, I mean, maybe they
Look at
want
your
to
schedule.
say.
Just ask Joyce to make arrangements. When are we arranging for?
Look at your schedule and fit them in. I did, I asked Joyce to contact them and get them in here.
Yeah.
Like, is there a
But look at your
legitimate
schedule,
increase in
find a
time?
place where we can put them in. It's gonna take at least, what, 45 minutes, an hour?
At least.
I wasn't even gonna tell you.
I just, no, that's.
No permanent maintenance.
That doesn't affect